They're next here on ESPN Radio and on Sirius XM Channel 80.
Hi, I'm Flo from Progressive. If you love the sports like me, you get annoyed with your team or player. So Progressive's going to help take your mind off your team or that player for a moment. Instead of thinking about how they lost that thing recently, think about Progressive letting you compare our direct rates side by side with competitors to easily find the lowest option. Don't worry, your sports ball team or player will get him next time. Hope this distraction from Progressive about easily comparing rates was helpful to not think about that last game or match or season. I mean, even though I love sports ball.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Comparison rates not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
How do you make the most of your land? If you ask the Wrens, who run with us on a John Deere mower, they tell you,
I mow first, then I do all the trimming.
But the Hubbards, who work behind the wheel of a John Deere compact tractor, would say,
if it's something you want, just go after it and try it.
Then there's the Mosers, who may mention from the seat of their John Deere Gator UTV,
you can't be all working.
It's a night of bouncing back for the Vermillion Tanagers and for the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. It's a chance to play up. Welcome to the Birdcage and welcome to the Core Insurance pregame show. Your local Core Insurance agents Debbie Profrock, Terry Nielsen, and Russell Olson are proud supporters of Vermillion Athletics and sponsors of tonight's broadcast. Inside the Bird's Nest, I'm Heath Nimke, and it's great to have you along here on ESPN 1015 AM 1570 on Vermillion streaming as well, as we're getting set for another Friday night of basketball and getting even closer to closing out the season, especially for the Vermillion girls, and a busy next couple of weeks for the Vermillion boys. But it is nice to have them back at home for both sides of these teams and actually really closing out this season as well here inside the Birdcage. On the opposite side, we welcome in the Irene-Wakonda Eagles, a Class B team for both the boys and the girls, playing up in competition. On the boys' side, they have been oh so close in so many games, yet they've let them kind of just slip away. And for the Irene-Wakonda Eagle girls, they are battle-stricken and tough once again this year, coming into tonight's matchup overall at 11-6, and are looking for what would be considered an upset. It's always a slight upset, even when you have almost similar records as the Vermillion Tanagers, but you talk about playing up in competition. Well, there's a lot to dive into here on the Core Insurance pregame show. Tonight's broadcast is also brought to you by our corporate sponsor, First Dakota National Bank, and also Pizza Ranch of Vermillion. It is Friday night. If you are at home and looking for a snack, or if you haven't had supper yet, well, then make it Pizza Ranch in Vermillion. Of course, they deliver, or you can always call to pick it up today. Again, Pizza Ranch in Vermillion. That sounds good, and maybe you might be using Pizza Ranch when it comes to the Super Bowl coming up on Sunday. Well, looking at these two matchups, so again, we talk about first the boys matchup, and we'll talk more discussing with Coach Lee and Coach Drake, a part of the game show. But for the Vermillion boys, it's one of the worst losses they have had in a very long time. And we're not talking just months, we're talking years after an almost 20-point loss to the Dakota Valley Panthers on Tuesday evening. And on the opposite side, the Irene-Wakonda boys have come so close in so many different games, but overall they come in at 6-10, and what has been a losing streak for them on 6-game losing streak, and also been a busy week so far. Now, the Irene-Wakonda Eagles lost on Monday night to the Canton Seahawks 59-48, and then on Tuesday losing to Wynot 58-45. And the Eagles are looking to close out when it comes to the region standings as well. They find themselves just kind of right there in the middle at 5th right now in the standings, but messing around with Centerville, Gayville, Volland, Scotland, Meadow, all kind of fighting for those top positions, or I should say top middle positions when it comes to their region. That's, of course, Region 5 in Class B. So a lot to play for tonight for both teams. On the opposite side for the girls, for Vermillion, this is just one of 2 games remaining. Now, after a loss as well on Tuesday night against the Dakota Valley Panthers, they got a little bit of help that they needed with T-Area losing to Harrisburg as well, which has kind of made things slightly interesting when it comes to those region standings. Now, Vermillion can close out here with a couple of victories. They could just possibly have that number 2 spot locked up. Again, coming into tonight's action, 13-5 overall, 43.444 seed points, whereas T-Area sits right now 9-8 overall and about a 1.5 behind Vermillion when it comes to those seed points. And again, T-Area is still going to be playing up in competition and still have 3 manageable victories left on their schedule. So things are going to still get very dicey and intense for the Vermillion girls. On the opposite side, the Irene-Wakonda Eagle girls coming into tonight's matchup, we mentioned it overall 11-6, 42.412 seed points, and they have also had a busy schedule. But unlike their boys' side of basketball, they have found themselves on a winning streak. In fact, 7 in a row. But the one big thing you look at is they haven't necessarily played some of the toughest competition in those past 7 games. You throw out the Howard Wood, where they won 61-55. Otherwise, a lot of teams with losing records. So tonight certainly is going to the Eagle girls. They fall as they get closer to wrapping up their season. In fact, they get finished coming up in less than a week time with Bridgewater Emory on Tuesday, Canastota on Thursday of next week to wrap up their season. Once again, this is the Core Insurance pregame show. I'm Heath Nimke. It's great to have you along. We're going to step aside for the first time tonight, and when we come back, we get you more set up on this matchup, including our conversation with head coach John Brooks of the Vermillion girls, talking about that tough loss against Dakota Valley and what he's looking at when it comes to the region standings, and oh, so much more. It's great to have you with this Friday night of basketball here on ESPN and Vermillion Streaming. We're back in just a moment.
There for you, ready for anything.
Safe means you're sort of protecting yourself. My mom and dad told me how to be safe. It's like super duper important. Hold a grown-up's hands. Put a helmet on because you might hurt your head super duper bad.
Protect their future by protecting yours with your local State Farm agent, Dick Sunday.
Need a new set of tires? Look to Carlson's Body Shop in Beersford. How about some accessories like WeatherTech floor mats, Access roll-up truck covers, bed liners, remote car starters, and thousands of other products. Hey, you can look at everything at your convenience online too at carlsonsbodyshop.com. No wonder the song says,
bring it down to Carlson's Body Shop, your complete car care center.
There's only one locally owned store in Yankton that you should purchase your next mattress from. It's Slumberland Furniture, with trained sleep experts helping you select from over 40 models, from name brands like Tempur-Pedic.
I've got a math question for you. When you add tolerance, subtract prejudice, and multiply efforts to treat one another with respect, what do you get? Less division. And school sports have it down to a science. Looking for an example of what can happen when we realize there's more that unites us than divides us? Look no further than high school sports in South Dakota.
This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Online.com. It's easy to create and save grocery lists, shop the sales, and get fuel savers. Plus, with Hy-Vee Aisles Online, pickup is free on orders over $30, and delivery is free with the membership. Save time. Shop online with Hy-Vee Aisles Online.
here on Vermillion Streaming and ESPN Radio. This is the Core Insurance pregame show. Core Insurance is the insurance division of Core Trust Bank. They're an independent agency representing many highly rated insurance companies. Contact your local agents of Debbie Profrock, Terry Nielsen, and Russell Olson for a free insurance review by visiting coretrustbank.com/insurance. Well, things aren't quite set in stone yet, but with a win tonight, Vermillion would basically lock up that number 2 spot inside Region 4. But it's going to be no easy task with an Irene-Wakonda team coming into tonight 11-6 overall and a lot of great talent that reminds you of other teams Vermillion has seen, more specifically teams from the DAC-12. Head coach John Brooks is our conversation right now, talking about what makes Irene-Wakonda so special, and as the girls close out the rest of their season with 2 games remaining, what does he want to see from his squad? Here he is on the Core Insurance pregame show. Our conversation with John Brooks is brought to you by Blaine's Body Shop. Here are his remarks earlier today. Well, Coach Brooks, as we talk about the Irene-Wakonda Eagles, we also have to look back to Tuesday night against Dakota Valley. We knew how good Dakota Valley was going to be. They really were able to flex their offense into that into first half, mainly into that third quarter. We've always talked about it so far this season, not putting together a complete full quarters. But you did a great job in shutting down Rosenquist at points. How proud of you were you with your defense, even though allowing 61 points, to still show there was fight left in them and play the entire game?
Yeah, that's the tough part with Dakota Valley. It's kind of something we talked to the girls about before the game and us coaches is you look at all their games and they're scoring in the 60s often. And they're a tough team to stop, and you got to be able to score to stay with them. They're just too good offensively to try to hold the 45 points and win. So, we got off to a great start, scoring 18 in the first quarter, and really, down 6 at half, still feeling pretty good about ourselves. But second half, like you said, they kind of took over there, and we just weren't able to hang in there. So, 38 points. I think we scored 41 points, and against a team like Dakota Valley, it's just not enough to beat them.
And I mean, another factor is when you shoot 43% from 3-point land from Dakota Valley, whereas you're shooting 25%, that certainly makes a big difference as well. Now you get closer to closing out this season. You have a couple games here at home against Irene-Wakonda and Parker to finish up. How nice is it being back inside the birdcage?
Yeah, it feels like it's just been forever. We had that game, that home game, kind of wedged in there with Beersford, but besides that, we have been on the road like crazy here, and it's just been a long stretch. And so I know our girls are happy to be back at home. We have a really good Irene-Wakonda team coming in here tonight, and we're gonna have to play very well. I have to play well at home, and then we got a full week off until we have Parker next Friday, and then into region. So it's that time of the year, and hopefully, like I said, we got our best game tonight and try to get a big win.
Yeah, talk about a big win, and this is a Class B Irene-Wakonda team, but they really don't play like it. They've played phenomenal so far this season. Do you notice any difference of playing from Class A to Class B at all, or is this just such a talented Eagles team that you really do have to treat them like a team from the DAC-12?
Yeah, I think it varies quite a bit, just kind of depending on who you're playing there, but that's exactly what I tell our girls, that they're physically like a Class A or Dakota 12 team. They started Knodel at the point guard, a little 5'2", 5'3" guard that's really quick, but then after that, they are 5'8" and above pretty much from there on out, and they are strong and physical inside, with the Marshall girl and the Orr girls inside, and then we're going to deal with the last O'Malley here tonight. She's finally a senior, and she can score it as well as anybody we've seen all year. So O'Malley and Knodel are very, very talented guards for them, and that's why they're very good.
Yeah, you talk about Nora O'Malley, and of course the entire O'Malley family, and even talk about Coach O'Malley. What's it like going up against him, who's been around for so long, knowing the degree and basketball?
Yeah, and you can tell that's why they've been really good the last few years. I feel like it's a team that knows exactly who they are and what they should be doing on the floor. I mean, we told our girls yesterday, they got 3 kids that are going to score tonight, and their other 2 kids are role players, but they're really good at what they do. They set screens, they rebound. Their roles are very defined, and you see that a lot with good coaching, and you see that a lot with good players. They know what they need to do in order to win, and O'Malley, Canoto, and Marshall are going to do probably 90% of their scoring tonight. So we really got to focus on those girls and try to get them stopped.
Well, when talking about your squad, we've preached all season long, beginning of the year, this was going to be a young team. We watched them blossom. They've had a phenomenal season so far. We've talked at points the defense has been able to win games, trying to play a complete 4 quarters. Now that we have 2 games remaining in this regular season, as a coaching staff, what are you looking for from your team?
Yeah, exactly that, a complete game. And, we do a daily quote each day for practice, and our last one was basically just at the point of just saying at some point there's no more excuses. You just got to do what it takes to get it done, and we're at that point in the season. It's not talking about it anymore. It's not X's and O's. We know what we're supposed to be doing. We know what we like to run offensively and defensively. Now it's just stepping out on the floor and for 32 minutes competing and getting after it. So that's what we need to do tonight, and hopefully that can continue on heading into regions here.
Once again, that is head coach John Brooks here on the Core Insurance pregame show. Our conversation with Coach Brooks has been brought to you by Blaine's Body Shop. We're going to step aside for a moment, and when we come back, we get you closer to the opening tip and starting lineups here inside the Birdcage on ESPN.
Machine in Beersford is your full-service quality John Deere dealer. From the latest John Deere combines and tractors to lawn equipment you can count on, Peterson Machine in Beersford will bring you the best value for your dollar, along with professional service and parts to keep you going. Check out the big selection of used equipment as well. Need a hard-working farm hand? Peterson Machine also carries a full line of Polaris ATVs and UTVs ready for the toughest jobs. No matter what the job, Polaris keeps you going. Check the full inventory at petersonmachine.com.
Midwest Ready Mix Equipment is your locally owned and operated ready mix company. Their specialty, 6x6 front discharge mixer trucks that allows for better placement of concrete and ease of use. Midwest Ready Mix Equipment offers the highest quality of concrete products and aggregates, and also a full-service dealer for low-gun equipment featuring telehandlers, excavators, and ASB track skid loaders for purchase or rent. Midwest Ready Mix Equipment, East Highway 50, Vermillion.
DIC. Customize your washer for any load and wash the way you want. Industry first innovation and design lets you remove the agitator to wash a bulky load that needs more space and easily swap it back in whenever you want. It's twice the wash action options and twice the washer you have at home.
Find this and other Whirlpool and Maytag appliances at Merce Appliance in Vermillion.
If you're considering a new roof, you want to put your roof in the hands of Dave's Roofing. Dave's Roofing specializes in residential roofing and has over 10 years of experience. Dave's Roofing covers any job from a 60 to 80 mile radius of Sioux City and has a 10-man crew that completes most jobs in one day. Dave's Roofing will make sure the cleanup job is done right afterwards too. And the products installed are impact rated and eligible for homeowners insurance discounts. Look up Dave's Roofing on Facebook and check out the work that's been done in customer testing.
Proud to be a part of your dreams come true.
Electric Service with shops in Pierre and Vermillion. We offer a full spectrum of electrical services covering Central, North Central, and Southeast South Dakota. We are licensed, insured, and ready to work on your agricultural, commercial, or residential project. Need a quote? Give us a call. Todd's Electric Service, the line to power.
You don't need an illness to need a doctor. You don't need to feel sick to feel better. You don't need to be unwell to get well. What you do need is a primary care physician or provider at Sanford Health. Better health care starts with regular wellness visits and a familiar face who knows you, your concerns, and your goals. We're here before you need us. We're here when you need us. We're here after you need us. We're here for you. Sanford Health. Health lives here.
Opportunity lender.
back inside the bird cage. Up inside the bird nest, I'm Heath Nimke. We're getting you set for our doubleheader between the Vermillion Tanagers and the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. A great night, a great Friday evening. It's been a windy and cold day, but here inside the Vermillion High School Gymnasium, a large crowd for both the Vermillion Tanagers and for the Irene-Wakonda Eagles, who don't have to make the trip far to make it to the high school this evening. Well, of course, as we know, the girls' game is up first. Vermillion coming into tonight's action 13-5 overall, whereas the Irene-Wakonda Eagles from Class B are 11-6 overall. All right, let's get into our starting lineups for both Vermillion Tanagers and we'll begin with the visiting team in their black uniforms, the Eagles. Tonight's starting lineup will be number 1, Katie Canodal, the 5'4 senior guard. Number 3, Nora O'Malley, the 5'8 senior guard. Number 13, Madison Orr, the 5'9 freshman forward. Number 23, Emma Marshall, the 5'8 freshman guard. And number 24, Emma Orr, the 5'6 senior forward for the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. For the Vermillion Tanagers, it's the same starting 5. They've gone through some recent injuries, but they all remain healthy for tonight's game. Tonight it'll be number 1, Casey Hansen, the 5'8 freshman guard who's averaging just over 11 points so far this season. Number 3, Livy Regnaris, the 5'6 junior guard. Number 15, Leah Herbster, the 6-foot junior center. Number 25, Chandler Cleveland, the 5'8 sophomore forward, who's really boasted her scoring as of late in the season, averaging just over 6 points a game. And finally, number 33, Brooke Jensen, the 6-foot freshman guard, who's averaging just under 11 points a ball game. The Tanagers are coached by head coach John Brooks, along with assistant coaches Doug Hansen and Carrie Jensen, along with manager Kristen Mosier. And we are set for this matchup between Class A versus Class B. And again, one of the big differences that you see is just when it comes to bench-wise, how deep can you go with your squad? One of the early reasons why we're beginning a little bit earlier for tonight is there is no C game for both the boys and for the girls. It just goes JV straight into varsity. So a little bit of ahead of time here at the Vermillion High School, but no one's going to complain about that. Again, for the Vermillion girls, an all-important win tonight would basically lock up that number 2 spot inside the region, which would mean 2 home games, trying to make it a little bit easier getting to the Sodak 16. A potential rematch between the T-Area Lady Titans could be in store. All right, again, the Tanagers in their white uniforms will be moving from right to left. The Irene-Wakonda Eagles and their black uniforms moving from left to right. The opening tap is won by Emma Orr, and we are underway here for our doubleheader between the Irene-Wakonda Eagles and the Vermillion Tanagers. Again, Irene-Wakonda will remind you a lot of a DAC 12 team. A three-pointer is well off the mark for Emma Marshall. Misses everything. Ball goes out of bounds. Again, we talk about bumps and bruises as well for the Vermillion Tanagers. Multiple girls wearing some kind of bandages on their knees, including Casey Hansen, who has a black bandage around her left knee. You look at Leah Herbster, who's wearing 2 bandages on her both knees, and Leah Herbster has also rolled her ankles in the past couple of games, continues to work through those injuries as well. So the Tanagers have taken their bumps and bruises, but remain with their starting 5. Regnaris shoots the 3. It's off mark. It's going to be rebounded deeply, though, by Leah Herbster along the far wing. Picked back up by the Tanagers, and they'll reset the offense. Trying to work it down inside the paint. It goes off of Herbster, out of bounds. So the first 45 seconds will remain scoreless between the Eagles and the Tanagers. Again, for the Irene-Wakonda Eagles, 11-6 overall, just above 42 seed points entering tonight's matchup, and all important for them as well as they get close to wrapping up their season heading into next week. Three-pointer on the way. This one's off the mark, but it's an offensive rebound. Chandler Cleveland, though, is going to rip it away from Nora O'Malley, trying to get it quickly up the court. It goes out of bounds over the head of Brooke Jensen. Vermillion held the ball for less than 4 seconds before a quick turnover. As we mentioned, a Friday evening, a lot of little kids in attendance as well here inside the birdcage. In fact, we got to see the elementary choir perform the national anthem, which was a cool sight. Driving in is Jensen after a turnover from the Eagles. Ball goes deflecting out of bounds underneath the hoop. It will stay with the Tanagers. Neither team really wanting to control it offensively so far. Absolutely no rhythm to this basketball game. Casey Hansen has it in the far wing. Catch and shoot three. Knocks it down. Casey Hansen picking up where she left off on Tuesday evening against the Dakota Valley Panthers, where she was our Latte Da player of the game. She walked away with 12 points in that game. Really tried to bring the Tanagers back in that second half, but was unable to do so. Controlled with O'Malley, swinging around the perimeter. Rainbow pass to the near side. Bounce inside to the perimeter. Madison Orr trying to get some space, but has her pocket picked. Turnover for the Eagles. Quickly the opposite way. Regnerus gets it down to Leah Herbster, backing her way in. Double team. Kick back out to Livy Regnerus. Bounce pass over to Casey Hansen. Took a deflection on its way to Chandler Cleveland. She'll shoot the three. This one's off the left of the iron, going out of bounds. So Tanagers quickly trying to hit the three ball. They have been off the mark besides Casey Hansen's only points of the ball game. Again, Vermillion leads it 3-0. 5:48 first quarter. Nora O'Malley. The final O'Malley. Of course, Irene-Wakonda has been built on the O'Malleys for the past several years. Nora now a senior, and she's had a great senior year once again. Driving up is Jensen. Gets by her defender. Goes up strong with the layup, but can't knock it down. Offensive board for the Vermillion Tanagers. They'll reset. And again, this is what you talk about for Vermillion. Don't want to have these kind of mistakes as we close out the season. A jumper is off the mark for Brooke Jensen. Quickly opposite way, it's Nora O'Malley. Bounce pass and up with the right hand, and good is Madison Orr for the first 2 points for Irene-Wakonda. Vermillion still holding on to a 1-point lead, 3-2, 5:02 first quarter. Casey Hansen back over to Regnerus. Regnerus trying to get some space. The free throw line. Bounce pass. Takes deflection. Somehow Regnerus comes back up with it after she chased down the reflection. Catch and shoot three from Casey Hansen is off the mark. It will go into the corner, out of bounds. And it's another turnover for Vermillion as they can't get another bucket. Again, trying to live and die by the three. Currently from the three-point line, they are 1 of 4. 4:48 first quarter. Want an all-important win. This would certainly help the seed points if you can find that win over the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. Trying to get to O'Malley. It's deflected and stolen away. Opposite way, it's the Tanagers. Jensen, three-pointer, knocks it down. Usually once Brooke Jensen can hit her shot, she's free to shoot the rest of the evening. 6-2, 4:22 first quarter. Now that was something she struggled with on Tuesday against Dakota Valley down in North Sioux City, was trying to really find her rhythm in that game. Had a quiet game against the Panthers. Driving in, trying to get some space, knocking over a defender, and finally, a foul is called late. Charge taken by Leah Herbster. It's the first foul of the ball game. It will come against Emma Marshall. And now we'll see a substitution. Livy Regnerus will come out. Janaea Cleveland will come in. Also, Chandler Cleveland is out of the ball game. Brooklyn Voss is in for the first time. So Vermillion deciding to go with a large lineup right now with Jensen, Voss, and Leah Herbster all on the court. This is kind of rare that you see three big girls on the court at once for the Vermillion Tanagers. Casey Hansen inside the perimeter jumper on the block is off the mark. Rebounded by the Eagles. O'Malley works it to the far side, right from the student section for the Tanagers. Back down to O'Malley baseline. Able to kick it back out. Try and get the pass to the low block near side, or has nowhere to work, and the Eagles go back out around their perimeter. O'Malley shoots the three and gets it to go. Nora O'Malley, her first 3 points of the ball game. It's 6-5. Vermillion holds on to a 1-point lead. Again, Voss has it. Now it's going to be almost stolen away. A couple girls go to the ground to tie it up. Possession arrow points Vermillion's favor. Again, you want to watch this size matchup right now for Vermillion with Jensen, Voss, and Leah Herbster all on the court, especially right now. Katie Knodel and Leah Herbster are going against each other. That's a huge size advantage for Vermillion. Voss, far jumper for her. This one is off the mark, and O'Malley comes away with the rebound. Eagles quickly pushing the tempo down to the low block. O'Malley puts her shot off the bottom of the backboard. That was for the lead for the Eagles. Across the Tanager logo, it's Casey Hansen. Picks up her dribble. Now to Jensen. Catch and shoot three. Knocks it down. Again, once she finds her rhythm, Brooke Jensen is darn near impossible to stop. You don't want her to get going. She now has 6 points in the ball game, 9-5, 2:40 first quarter. Eagles work it over to Katie Knodel, who's been quiet so far tonight. Jumper, this one is off the mark for Orr. Battle for the rebound, and a foul was called. Be the first crime committed against the Tanagers. So both teams come up with one foul. It's also called on Janaea Cleveland, picking up her first. Leah Herbster will now come out of the basketball game, and checking back in is Chandler. Inbound it, working some space. Emma Marshall, back to O'Malley. O'Malley inside the perimeter, has her space cut off by the Tanager defense of Voss. To the free throw line extended. It's Knodel. Knodel guarded closely by two Tanagers. Picks up her dribble to O'Malley. 18 seconds on the shot clock. Catch and shoot three. This one is off the mark for Emma Marshall, but it's an O board for the Eagles. Katie Knodel jumper. This one is left short. And finally, number one for the Tanagers. Hansen comes away. She tries to make a tall pass up to Chandler Cleveland. It was off the mark as O'Malley was there to intercept. Quickly the opposite way. Marshall, three-pointer. This one is off the mark, and Chandler comes away with the rebound. Up to Brooke Jensen. A 4-point lead for the Tanagers. Janaea Cleveland has her right in front of Coach O'Malley. Now to Jensen. She'll shoot another three. Brooke Jensen connects once again. 9 points for her in the ball game. It's 12-5, and Coach O'Malley wants a timeout. As Brooke Jensen, the 6-foot freshman guard, has now hit 3 threes. And again, Vermillion trying to live and die by the three-pointer is finally starting to connect. Well, it's great to have you along here on Vermillion Streaming and ESPN Radio. Tonight's broadcast is brought to you by First Dakota National Bank. Meet their banking dream team in Vermillion. At First Dakota National Bank, their banking team offers you the personal hometown banking service with a smile. They're always there to provide the banking solutions that truly fit you. Tonight's broadcast is also brought to you by Thread and Ink, First Bank and Trust, and Kalen's Indoor Comfort. Again, we can't do this without all our sportscaster sponsors. So when you see those commercials, you hear us mention their names, make sure you always keep it local, in town, shop local with your Vermillion sportscasting sponsors. 12-5, 92 seconds remaining in this first half. It's a 7-point lead for the Vermillion Tanagers. Big thanks in part to the three-pointers. In fact, Vermillion has gotten all their points from beyond the arc. It's Marshall trying to get it back to O'Malley. Almost stolen away. It was tipped by the left hand of Chandler Cleveland that found the hands of Livy Regnaris. It's now to Janaea Cleveland. Bounce pass to Mulheron, who checked in at the last break. Back to Mulheron, out to Livy Regnaris, down to Voss at the block, trying to back her way in baseline. Last second feed to Cleveland, and it's the first points inside the perimeter for the Vermillion Tanagers. First points as well for Chandler Cleveland. It's the biggest lead of the game, 14-5, under 50 seconds remaining, first quarter. O'Malley, bounce pass to Katie Knodel, giving the head bob, telling O'Malley to go over to the left side. They get it back, trying to make a pass to Marshall. It takes a deflection, and it goes out of bounds. Ooh, Katie Knodel didn't actually have to chase after that. It was deflected off of a Tanager. She could have just let it go out of bounds, but her hustle effort gave it back to Vermillion, who's trying to make this double digits. Now they can hold for the last second shot, as it's 1.3 that separates the shot clock from the game clock. And Vermillion is aware of that situation, so they're just going to be moving it around the perimeter. Janaea Cleveland carries it all the way back to the timeline with her right hand. Bounce past the Tanager logo with Livy Regnaris. 12 seconds on the shot clock. Janaea Cleveland still working it, bleeding it down, gets a screen from Mulheron. Bounce pass to Voss over the corner. She heaves up a three, misses everything. Mulheron gets it back with 2 seconds. Catch and shoot three. Livy Regnaris is off the mark. Ball's being tipped around. In the end, Vermillion does not score, but they also end the first quarter with a big 9-point lead. 14-5 after quarter number 1. Vermillion right now 4 of 9 from the three-point line. We're going to step aside for 60 seconds. When we come back, it's the second quarter here on ES.
Perfect night of sleep can be found with Slumberland's Sleep Solutions Center. Stearns & Foster, Tempur-Pedic, and Sealy all feature. Don't lose another night of sleep. Stop by Slumberland of Yankton. Looking to update the family room? Look no further than Yankton Slumberland, Lazy Boy, Flexsteel Furniture, and more. All at your hometown furniture store. That's Slumberland of Yankton.
Okay, Tanagers fans, it's that time again. Time to bank some noise for this game break with First Dakota National Bank. Give me a B for this much-needed bathroom break. Squeal with delight because your 8-hour pork ribs are ready. Throw your hands in the air because you've been sitting a while and need to stretch. Bank some noise with us at First Dakota. Open a new account online today at firstdakota.com, member FDIC.
Need a pack on West Cherry Street in Vermillion.
(14-5) after quarter number one, the Vermillion Tanagers have a 9-point lead, mainly because of the three-point line, and also Brooke Jensen, who came away with 9 points in that first quarter, all from beyond the arc. Irene-Wakonda opens up with the first possession, and they call not a jump ball, but instead two girls trying to tie it up. It went out of bounds. They say last touch by the Eagles before the ball was ever tied up, so the Eagles open up with a turnover to start this second quarter, and here comes Vermillion the opposite way, trying to expand on their biggest lead of the ball game. Leah Herbster getting it down to Chandler Cleveland now. A pass from Livy Regneris. Ball's being bounced around after a missed shot. Leah Herbster collects it right at the rim. Is able to knock it in for her first 2 points. So all starters have now scored for the Tanagers except for Livy Regneris. 16-5, 7:15 second quarter, and another charge taken by Leah Herbster. The foul will be called on Nora O'Malley, her first personal, and the second team foul. 16-5, 7:14 second quarter. Tanager fans, don't forget, coming up at halftime, the Vermillion Booster Halftime Show will have another installment of another Hall of Fame interview. Cleveland, wide open, left block, scores another 2 for the Tanagers. And now a timeout called from head coach O'Malley, and going off that, last week, or the week before I should say, we got to hear from Jason Huska. This past Wednesday, I sat down with his twin brother, Jeff Huska, and we got to have our conversation about being inducted into the Vermillion Booster Hall of Fame. Coming up at halftime, you'll hear pieces of that interview. Now to hear both interviews of Jason and Jeff Huska being inducted into the Vermillion Booster Hall of Fame. You can always check that out on our website at kvhtradio.com. A little bit more of a podcast, an extended conversation with both those gentlemen about being inducted, their stories they share, their favorite memories from high school, what their careers went on to be, and where they find themselves at now in life. Of course, we know a little bit more about Jason Huska, still here in Vermillion, but Jeff Huska, a unique story up in Minnesota and on his path to getting there. 18-5, back in action. Jumper is off the mark from Nora O'Malley, but it's an offensive rebound, kicking around Katie Knodel. Back to the top with Marshall. Back to Knodel, again giving a head bob. Marshall, jumper for Orr, gets it. Madison Orr, 4 points in the ball game. In fact, she's the leading scorer for the Eagles, 18-7, 6:27 second quarter. Livy Regneris down to Chandler Cleveland, who is double teamed. Now to Leah Herbster, wide open, and she's able to finish it off once again. Leah Herbster has been dominant so far in the ball game, 20-7, 6:12 second quarter. And now a foul called, trying to play some tough defense against O'Malley. The foul against Chandler Cleveland, her first personal, the second team foul. 20-7, 6:09 second quarter. Again, both these teams trying to fight for the region playoffs, which are coming up here in just a couple of weeks. Shot is off the mark for O'Malley, but another offensive rebound going back up is Orr. She now has 6 points in the ball game. 20-9, 5:50 second quarter. Livy Regneris, bounce pass down to Brooke Jensen. Jensen puts up her shot way too strong off the glass, but offensive rebound, back up, miss, another rebound and another miss, but a foul called this time. And Leah Herbster will be heading to the free throw line. The foul against Emma Orr, picking up her first personal and the third team foul. 20-9, 5:42 second quarter. First free throw is up, and this one is good for Leah Herbster. Herbster now 5 points for her in the ball game. The Tanagers are also shooting their first free throws of the evening. Second free throw is off the mark. Trying to get the offensive rebound was Chandler Cleveland. Now again, Vermillion, the way things are going, not only for tonight, but also coming up next Friday against Parker, which they should win. Parker is a recently new team to Region 4A. Also coming up from Class B, but they've struggled a little bit this season. Vermillion trying to close out with a couple big wins and grab home court advantage for the region playoffs, which would be so important. We'll be talking more about that coming up a little bit later on this evening as well, and what that could mean, what Vermillion could see. Three-pointer for Canodal is off the mark. Rebound by the Tanagers. Quickly the opposite way, it's Casey Hansen. Hansen, right to left hand, now picks up her dribble to Leah Herbster, to Regneris, to Jensen. Back to the top with Hansen. Catch and shoot three. Splash! Casey Hansen, 6 points for her in the night. Vermillion is really starting to hit from beyond three-point land. 24-9, 4:50, second quarter. They are hassling O'Malley in the backcourt. She needs to get it across the timeline, and she can't do so. It's a 10-second violation and another quick turnover. O'Malley was just trying to get it done herself, moving from left to right, but never able to get it across the timeline. So, be back with the Challenger basketball. 24-9, 4:42, second quarter. A pass that's deflected up in the air, and the Eagles get a quick turnover, trying to get it back to O'Malley. Jensen was there to try to poke it away, but made contact, picking up her first personal, third team foul. And now, Leah Herbster is going to come out of the basketball game, and checking back in for tonight is Brooklyn Voss. 24-9, 4:38, second quarter. Get it into O'Malley. Again, she's the one that runs this offense for the Eagles. She's double teamed. Now makes the pass over to Marshall. She shoots the three. This one rims in and out, hits off the glass, and finds its way back in. Emma Marshall, her first 3 points of the evening. 24-12. Voss, pump fake, now drive in. She made contact with a couple different Eagles. No foul called. Ball goes out of bounds, and it will stay with Vermillion. 24-12, 4:16, second quarter. Again, this one has been moving a little bit slower of a pace here in this second quarter. Olivia Regneris trying to find someone to inbound. Goes to Voss, who is near to her left side. Back out. Jensen, another three-pointer for her. This one, though, is off the heel of the iron. Here come the Eagles, quickly opposite way. Canodal drives in, finds some space in the lane, and punches it home. Katie Canodal, her first 2 points. All Eagles, for starters, have scored except for Emma Orr. 24-14, 3:52, second quarter. Rainbow pass to the near wing. Now to Jensen. Jumper for her is off the mark. Rebounded for the Eagles. Trying to chip away, trying to get it back under double digits. It's now Marshall. Carrying it to the wing. Will drive inside the lane. Put up the runner. It's off the mark, but gets back her own rebound. And ball's being deflected around. Regneris dive, but picked up by Jensen. Quickly up to Casey Hansen, who bleeds quickly the other way. Her shot is off the mark. Will go out of bounds. Vermillion in rebounding tonight, especially defensively, has struggled. Livy Regneris will now come out of the basketball game. Janaea Cleveland is on. Both Cleveland girls, Brooklyn Voss, Brooke Jensen, and Casey Hansen currently on the court. So 3 of the 5 starters right now. Voss, three-pointer. It looked like her foot was on the line. Doesn't matter. It's off the mark anyways. Madison or the rebound. Quickly opposite way. It's O'Malley to the free throw line. Trying to get her way in the lane. Puts up the runner. It's off the front of the iron. Here come the Tanagers once again. It's Jensen who has it. Tanger script far side. Pumps the brakes back to Voss at the free throw line. Now over to Janaea Cleveland. Corner three. Splash! Janaea Cleveland was wide open. She didn't hesitate and hits the sniper shot. 27-14, 2:50, second quarter. O'Malley back over to Madison Orr. Back to Marshall. Gives the head bob. Drives down to the low block on the left side. Her shot, though, is off the mark. Vermillion trying to extend this back up to even higher. Their biggest lead has been by 16 tonight. Or excuse me, 17. Janaea Cleveland to Casey Hansen. Moving around her defender. Back to Janaea Cleveland. Another three-pointer. This one is off the mark. Fight for the rebound. Coming away with Marshall. Marshall to Katie Canodal. Across the Tanger logo. Still Katie. Now pumps it back out to O'Malley. Three-pointer for her is off the mark. Fight for the rebound, goes out of bounds along the baseline. It will stay with the Eagles. Quick substitution as Leah Herbster comes back in. Chandler Cleveland will take a breather. And of course, we talk about Class A to Class B, and this is the biggest difference that you will see in this competition is how deep and how often Vermillion's able to rotate with their bench, whereas the Eagles, they really stay with their starting five. And now a quick shot that's knocked down for the Eagles. It belongs to to Madison Orr, who now has 8 points in the ball game. She is the leading scorer, and head coach John Brooks wants a timeout. We'll step aside and take a 30-second break with them. We're back here in just a moment on ESPN.
I've got a math question for you. When you add tolerance, subtract prejudice, and multiply efforts to treat one another with respect, what do you get? Less division. And school sports have it down to a science. Looking for an example of what can happen when we realize there's more that unites us than divides us? Look no further than high school sports in South Dakota.
This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Like what they do and will work with you. That's Dakota Realty and Property Management.
27-16, 2:03, second quarter. Well, we'll have a quick chance. We'll try to get you some score updates, including the DWU Classic has been going on today. Now, that started earlier this morning. One game inside the DAC 12 of opponents has gone final. Sioux Falls Christian got the win over Belle-Fourche, 39-26. A lot of other good games going on tonight, including Lennox and T area playing a doubleheader. Also, Dakota Valley and Del Rapids playing in a doubleheader. And also some Region 4A matchups as well this evening. And now, as Casey Hansen was moving around the outside of the perimeter from her left to her right, a foul called away from the ball. It will be against Emma Marshall, her second personal, and the fourth team foul. It's actually been pretty clean when it comes to fouls for both teams. And now back-to-back fouls. Oh, no. Another one. No, this would be called on Jensen. I thought the official said it was on the Eagles and Emma Marshall. But instead on Brooke Jensen picking up her second personal, the fourth team foul. So both teams have 4 team fouls, and now Jensen will come out of the basketball game. And Claire Doty, who picked up an ankle injury, has been out for the past couple of games, is on for the first time in over a week. Driving in, shot too strong off the glass. Ball is being tipped around, somehow finds the hands of O'Malley. Her shot deflected from behind, and then Leah Herbster tries to block away another shot. But this time, it's going to be called for a foul. Or they say it's against Claire Doty, not Leah Herbster, as Claire Doty reached in from the bottom end and picks up the foul. So Claire Doty with her first personal, the 15th foul. It is 2 free throws upcoming, and the first one knocked down from Emma Marshall. She's got 4 points this evening. 27-17, second free throw. This one is good, and the Eagles have it back underneath double digits. Again, they're not going to go anywhere this evening. They're certainly a great basketball team from Class B. You love to see that as well, given that competition against the Vermillion Tanagers. Sometimes it can be a little tough when it comes to Class A, Class B matchups. 2-pointer with the foot on the line is off the mark anyways for Claire Doty. Ball is saved by Leah Herbster, but takes off the fingertips of Voss. She couldn't control it, goes out of bounds. Again, big crowd on hand tonight here at the Vermillion High School, not just for the Vermillion Tanagers, but for the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. It's basically the only thing to do on a Friday evening. Of course, the USD women's basketball team back home tomorrow afternoon. Shot is deflected by Voss, and collecting it underneath the hoop was Leah Herbster. 9-point lead for the Tanagers, 27-18, 45 seconds. A 3-pointer for Voss is off the mark. Rebounded by O'Malley. She pushes the tempo quickly like a rocket. Now pumps the brakes, top of the key. Working to Katie Canoto, back trying to get to O'Malley. Will go out of bounds. Last touch by Casey Hansen, who has kept her nose clean this evening, hasn't yet to pick up a foul. Now Voss is out of the ball game. Chandler Cleveland comes back in. Katie Canoto will inbound it along the baseline with 34 seconds remaining in this first half. A pass over to Orr, back to Katie Canoto. Jumper is in and out. Rebounded by Janaea Cleveland. Cleveland will bring it in the front court, and the Tanagers can hold on for that last second shot. It's with now Chandler. Back back to Janaea. Passes it over to Doty. Doty, the simple jumper, misses it, but an offensive rebound. Trying to go back up as Janaea Cleveland has her shot deflected out of bounds. It will stay with Vermillion, and also 12.8 remaining in this first half. Hansen gets it deep to Chandler Cleveland. Back to Hansen. Now over to Claire Doty. The top with Janaea Cleveland. Chandler, Casey Hansen. Hansen, jumper at the baseline, will be fouled with 1.8 remaining. So she'll go to the free throw line to shoot 2. See if she can't knock in a couple. Put it back up to a double-digit lead before halftime. Again, Vermillion led it by 9 after quarter number 1, 14-5. First free throw is knocked down for Casey Hansen. Vermillion Tanagers are now 2 of 3 so far this evening from the free throw line, 28-18. Casey Hansen is able to hit the second free throw. The Eagles, Katie Canoto, get up to Marshall, who will not put up a last-second shot, and that is the end of the first half. And at halftime, the Vermillion Tanagers lead it by double digits, 29-18. We're going to step aside for 30 seconds, and when we come back, it's another installment of our Vermillion Booster Halftime Hall of Fame conversation. Tonight's conversation features Jason Huska talking about his career as a Vermillion Tanager, the multiple state titles he won while playing for Vermillion, and what his future moved on to be and where he finds himself at now. That's coming up in 30 seconds here on ESPN.
I've got a math question for you. When you add tolerance, subtract prejudice, and multiply efforts to treat one another with respect, what do you get? Less division. And school sports have it down to a science. Looking for an example of what can happen when we realize there's more that unites us than divides us? Look no further than high school sports in South Dakota.
This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Put your roof in the expert's hands of Dave's Roofing.
Well, looking at your career as a Vermillion Tanager, I mean, talking with your brother as well, it began when you guys were young, not only as competing against each other, but of course having a dad as well. And maybe I didn't expand on that enough with your brother, so I'll ask you about that. How much was your dad an influence to what you did, not just throughout your high school career, but also just growing up when you were younger?
Well, he was a huge part of it. He would encourage us to go out and play, mostly because he wanted to get us out of the house so we didn't bother him. As far as rough housing and the balls flying around in the house and everything. So, of course, he was a big influence. And, both he and my mom are, avid sports lovers. And, it's all we ever knew. And so it was really special to have some parents like that support you and encouraged you, and they always, and even more important than that, they kept us grounded. Whenever you thought you were feeling pretty good about yourself, you had a mom or a dad that could easily bring you back down to earth and say, you did have this many turnovers or whatever. So that was actually a good thing. Sometimes it was just like, wow, but most of the time it was, that was really a good way to keep us grounded. And so, as far as that goes, I couldn't have asked for anything better. Jason and I were very lucky. And it also, involved our sister. Stacy being a couple of years older, we got to watch her. She was really somebody we got to watch back, starting in middle school, and she started her athletic career. And we picked up a lot of things from that. And we picked up a lot of things from Dad coaching her, what it's like to have a coach relationship. It was a little different for them because it was a coach-daughter, and that can be a little different. There are challenges with girls, and they're just different. It's not bad. It's not better. It's just different. We got to see a lot of that, and we learned a lot from that. And it was something that we certainly enjoyed. And that's like my earliest memories. I think about watching her. I think about watching other people growing up. But, having Dad around and encouraging us and giving us the things that we needed, putting up a hoop and doing the things that, we wanted to do. And it was just great to have that support.
Well, going off that basketball, you do have that opportunity to win multiple state championships at the high school level, something that hasn't been seen in Vermillion really ever since then. Looking back on those times, was there one specific championship that was your favorite as a winner, or what was special about those runs that your team was able to put together?
That's a good question. I often think about that. And, that first one is really special because it's the first one for your community, for your school. That in itself is really, really special. But, going back the second year when nobody expected it, that's also pretty special. And, there were so many people that wrote us off. And early in that season, our senior year, we lost 2 or 3 games before Christmas, and people were just, buzzing like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with this team and this and that. And we just kept our nose down and worked hard. And I thought Coach Hennis did a great job of keeping us focused, and went on a nice win streak to win it all again. And so, it's hard for me to say that either one of them was more. I would say they're even, but for different reasons. One being the first, that was really special, and being out in Rapid, that was pretty cool. Of course, the blizzard, that memory, losing power in the hotel. Those are the kinds of things that you don't forget. And we had snow drifted in our room from the window. It was crazy. It was a crazy experience, but I just feel so grateful to have experienced. So that was a lot of fun. Both of them were really special, and I really can't say that I like one over the other.
We talk about what your brother has meant as an influence. We talk about your family, but is there any one specific that you would like to credit for you making it into the Hall of Fame? Or was it a combination of those coaches, your family, your brother, that allowed you to get to this point, being inducted into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah, I don't think it's ever one person or anything like that, or one thing. This was a combination. I remember growing up in Vermillion and watching the Seibels and watching Scott and Steve Bruning and even Steve Ward and Mark Manning and Todd Bowling. These guys were just like, I looked up to them, and it wasn't always, and most of it was sports, but some of them was just because they were just cool guys. Like I was talking about earlier, when you're a young kid and you look up to these guys, to have more, and we were lucky because our dad was a teacher, and so we had access to a lot of these guys that would to help shape us, and they really did. And the student athletes that we got to watch and grow up with, just phenomenal. You go a little bit further outside my family, and I had an uncle, my dad's brother, Ross. He was a big influence on me, and even Jason too, because he loved basketball. He loved playing sports. And every time we got together, he would take us to the gym, or we would go out into the park and play. So he really encouraged us as well. You mentioned the coaches. Couldn't have asked for better coaching in a high school setting than what we did. We were just so fortunate, and I am so grateful for our opportunities that we had. And I don't think you know it when you're there, but now as you get older, you start reflecting on things, and you've seen a little bit more in the world, and you realize how good you really did have it. And we were very fortunate. I got nothing but good memories walking around at Vermillion High School, Vermillion Middle School. And I'll cherish those forever. I really do think that, you've got the family, those people that you really look up to and watch, your coaches, your teammates. I mean, the memories that we have with our teammates, we get together, even now and talk about some of those experiences, and, that camaraderie that you get, and you just can't replace that. And unless you're an athlete and a team guy, you don't really know what that is. And, super special. And again, I say this, and I speak tonight with a lot of gratitude and thankfulness, and that we were able to live that out. So what a special award, recognizing different athletes. I thank the Booster Club for doing that. I think that's a cool thing, because we're a lot of good athletes, good people going through Vermillion, and it's nice to see those people recognized. But it's really, I sometimes have to pinch myself that my name is going to be, alongside some of them. It's just crazy to me.
Once again, that is Jeff Huska, part of our Vermillion Booster Hall of Fame interviews that we have done. Again, that was just a small portion of the interview. If you would like to hear that in its entirety, check it out on our website. It's currently up at kvhtradio.com. You can also find other Vermillion Booster Hall of Fame interviews there as well, including Jason Huska, his twin brother, talking about what Jeff meant to his career and also making it. Again, the Vermillion Booster Hall of Fame banquet is coming up on April 23rd this year. So look forward to finally seeing 5 members being inducted into the Hall of Fame. An announcement made a couple of years ago, but have not been able to have that banquet due to COVID-19. But again, that is coming up this April. Taking a quick look at the numbers and statistics. Again, Vermillion Tanager girls lead it right now at halftime, 29-18. Led in big way by the 2 leading scorers so far this season. They have combined for a total of 17 points. Brooke Jensen hit 3 threes in that first quarter. That has been her only scoring. She has 9 points in the ball game. Casey Hansen with 8 points this evening. Otherwise, 5 points from Leah Herbster, 4 from Chandler Cleveland, and also 3 points off the bench for Janaea Cleveland. For the Irene-Wakonda Eagles, Nora O'Malley is the big name you always watch for, but right now getting it done is Madison Orr. She's the leading scorer with 8 points. 5 points for Emma Marshall. Just a 3-pointer for Nora O'Malley in that first quarter. Otherwise, just 2 points as well for Katie Knodel. And that is the only scoring for the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. As again, right now at halftime, the Vermillion Tanagers lead it by 11 points. We'll try to keep you up to date on scores from around the state of South Dakota. Again, we talk about some big games coming up later on this evening, or I should say they're currently underway, but no score updates from T-Area versus Lennox. Also, Dakota Valley and Del Rapids in action as well. Beersford and Elk Point Jefferson and a Region 4A matchup, and also seed points. And talking about those standings, again, Vermillion trying to lock up that number 2 spot and have home court advantage for the first 2 games inside the region. But of course, you have to win game number 1 for that game number 2. But if everything holds the way it's supposed to, Vermillion would get a rematch with the T-Area Lady Titans, a team they lost to earlier this season in the second round of the regions. And it's much better to be playing that game here at home than up in T and Thunder Alley. Certainly a tough place to win. Vermillion comes back out in their starting 5 of Casey Hansen, Livy Regneris, Leah Herbster, Chandler Cleveland, and Brooke Jensen. The Tanagers will now be moving from left to right, as you see on your radio dial in Vermillion streaming, whereas the Irene-Wakonda Eagles will be moving from right to left. Also, our halftime entertainment was the elementary students giving their dance performance, a great performance put on by the elementary dance team. Really cool to see that. And of course, their parents are now leading them back to the stands, as well as afterwards, I believe they got treated to a treat. So great to see their performance at halftime. The Eagles also come back out in their starting 5 of Knodel, O'Malley, both Orrs, and Marshall. Speaking of Katie Knodel, she has it currently. Pass over to O'Malley. 14 seconds on the shot clock. Now work it down to Marshall. Baseline kick back out to O'Malley. The top with Knodel. Knodel puts up her far jumper. This one rims in and out, unfavored by the rim, but it's an offensive board. Back out to Marshall. Ball is passed, tipped in the air by Leah Herbster. Being kicked around, goes off the knee of Marshall and out of bounds. Something that is slightly surprising is the way Vermillion has rebounded tonight. It has been not the greatest. And for them to have an 11-point lead, you can talk about even second opportunities, third opportunities that have kept the Eagles in this ball game. Along the far wing, pass over to now Brooke Jensen. Back to the top with Casey Hansen inside the lane to Herbster. To Jensen once again to Livy Regneris out and around. They move it again. To Casey Hansen, she drives to the elbow, has to pick it up, no space, back to Hansen. She'll now put up a 3-pointer and knock it down. Casey Hansen, 11 points in the ball game. Again, she averages just over 11 so far this season. 32-18. Vermillion's biggest lead so far tonight has been by 17. That was early in the second. Katie Knodel to the elbow, back out to Nora O'Malley, to Marshall in the corner. Knodel moving it back and forth. Now to the top with Orr. O'Malley with 8 seconds on the shot clock. To Katie Knodel once again. Finally, a jumper put up by Marshall. This one's off the mark. The Eagles have been working the shot clock Coach O'Malley continues to be on his feet. In fact, he's been on his feet this entire ball game. I don't know if he really sits at all during a high school game. Casey Hansen, bounce pass inside to Leah Herbster. Turnaround spin, jumper in the lane, gets it to go. Leah Herbster now 7 points. She came in just averaging under 6. She's had herself a good game tonight. Really have been able to work it inside the paint. Also good defensively as she got in O'Malley's face, trying to be saved along the baseline. Couldn't do so, was Orr. Will go out of bounds. And again, you talk about Nora O'Malley, such a big piece to this offense. And when she cannot score, it certainly is a struggle for the Eagles. Again, we talk about a Class B team, and they really haven't been able to go to their bench, and they don't really go to their bench because there's not that much depth when it comes to experience. Another three-pointer for Casey Hansen. She connects. Now, Vermillion at halftime was 6 of 16 from the three-point line. Back-to-back threes from Casey Hansen. Back up now to a 19-point lead, and a foul call trying to cuff the space was Chandler Cleveland. It will be called on Cleveland, trying to shut down Emma Marshall there. Chandler picks up her second personal in the first team foul. 19-point lead, three-pointer, catch and shoot. Marshall is wide open. It's off the mark, rebounded by the Tanagers. Again at halftime as well for the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. They were 2 of 18, 7 of 25 from the field. Jensen, jumper, gets this one. First points for Brooke Jensen since the first quarter, but with that now hits double digits. She's got 11 in the ball game, a 21-point lead for the Tanagers as they are just opening this one up, and now Coach O'Malley is going to call a timeout. Vermillion has come out here quickly into this third quarter and outscored the Irene-Wakonda Eagles 10-0. And again, O'Malley will go to his pocket and use a timeout. Vermillion now 8 of 18 from the three-point line. That's 44%, where on Tuesday night they shot just 25% against Dakota Valley. And again, that was a big reason why Dakota Valley was able to open it up in the third quarter, win by 20 points when the Tanagers just shot 25% from beyond the three-point line, whereas Dakota Valley shot 43%. Quick look at scores from around the state of South Dakota, see if we can't find you some updates. Again, Sioux Falls Christian won earlier this afternoon against Belle Fourche, 39-26. Also, T area leads it over Lennox. Last time checked at the end of the first quarter, 7-2. Wowzers. Also, out Point Jefferson on top of Beersford, 9-0 halfway through the first quarter there. And that is our only score updates from inside the DAC 12 and Region 4A. Now, we are also a little bit ahead of time as we're already close to the halfway point of the third quarter with no C games for tonight. Everything has been just slightly ahead of schedule, but in the end, I don't think anyone's really going to complain about that on a Friday night. Again, it has been a packed house as well here inside the Birdcage and up in the Bird Nest. I'm Heath Nimke. Great to have you along here on Vermillion Streaming and ESPN Radio. Back in the action, the Eagles have it. Far wing, trying to make a pass over to Katie Knodel, stolen away by Chandler Cleveland. She's being hassled by Knodel, and Knodel last second hacks at Cleveland, will pick up the foul. Katie, her first personal, the first team foul for the Eagles of this second half. Livy Regneris will get it in deep to Chandler Cleveland at the volleyball line. To Jensen, now to Casey Hansen, and some contact, chicken fighting, right outside the lane. It will be called against the Eagles. It will go against Emma Orr, picking up her second personal. So 2 quick team fouls on the Eagles. Now with Cleveland, back over right from the bench to Jensen. To Livy Regneris, who took her spot. Leah Herbster, around the perimeter they go, to Casey Hansen, three-pointer off the front of the iron. Offensive rebound, great job by Leah Herbster to outmuscle her way against 2 Eagles. As she tried to go back up, she was fouled by Emma Orr, picking up her third personal and the third team foul. 39-18, 2 free throws upcoming for Leah Herbster, who is 1 of 2 so far this evening. First free throw is good, and Leah with that, now 8 points for her in the ball game. Tanagers are closing in on their third to get to double digits. 40-18, 4:04, third quarter. Second free throw. This one is good for Leah Herbster. So Vermillion has now come out and outscored the Eagles by 12 here to open up this third quarter. Again, a 12-0 run to open up the second half. Nora O'Malley gets it up to recently checked in Quinn McDonald, who is the first time she's been on the court this evening. Shot is off the mark. Here come the Tanagers quickly the opposite way, trying to put this one to bed here in the third quarter. Baseline Hansen back out to Livy Regnaris. Once again to Hansen. Back to the top with Livy Regnaris. Leah Herbster, who has it at the elbow, to Casey Hansen. Picks up her dribble to Brooke Jensen. Brooke Jensen putting down the dribble to Livy Regnaris. 10 seconds on the shot clock. She's going to bring it all the way back to the Tanager logo. Reset the offense to Chandler Cleveland with 3 seconds to Jensen. Wide open three for her. Splash. She doesn't miss when she's that open. Another big three-pointer, her fourth of the evening. She now has 14 points in the ballgame, Brooke Jensen. 44-18, 3 minutes remaining in this third quarter. The Eagles at this point just trying to score. And now we're going to see a hockey change. That whole entire lineup besides Jensen will stay on, but Cleveland, Herbster, Hansen, and Regnaris all off. Janaea Cleveland, Brooklyn Voss, Kenzie Mulheron, and Claire Doty all on. And again, these girls can all score for the Tanagers as well. Three-pointer for Katie Knodel, hits it over in the far corner. It's the first points of this second half for the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. 44-21. Janaea Cleveland over to Claire Doty. Back to the top with Janaea. To Voss. To Jensen. Trying to find something in the lane, but everyone's just moving around the perimeter right now for the Tanagers. Finally work it down to Doty, who gets herself in the lane. She goes up. Contact made. No foul called. And trying to reach it in. Jump ball called between Katie Knodel, and Kenzie Mulheron. It will stay with the Tanagers. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Janaea Cleveland to inbound. Holding it high above her head. Get it now over to Doty. Back to the top with Jensen. Catch and shoot three for her. Knocks it down once again. Brooke Jensen hits back-to-back three. She now has 8 points in this third quarter. 17 for the ball game. 47-21. It's a 26-point lead. Nora O'Malley drives in. The reach-in foul called. 2 free throws upcoming. It's against Kenzie Mulheron, picking up her first personal and the second team foul. 47-21, 2:07, third quarter. O'Malley first free throw is off the mark. Again, she has been shut down tonight. Just 3 points for her in the ball game, all coming from a three-point line in that first quarter. Second free throw finally scores. 4 points for her. 47-22, 25-point lead for the Vermillion Tanagers. They can go on. Nice little bit of a point streak and get to that 30-point rule and have a running clock as we enter the fourth quarter. Don't forget, this is also a doubleheader this evening. The boys to follow afterwards right here on Vermillion, streaming in ESPN Radio. Don't need to click anywhere as you go along this evening. A runner by Cleveland as she's fouled. She'll head to the free throw line. It's now the fourth team foul on the Eagles, and will be the second one called on Katie Knodel. Again, Vermillion running a lot of their bench players right now, whereas the Eagles don't necessarily have that option. First free throw is knocked down for Janaea Cleveland. Casey Hansen comes back on as Jensen will take a spot on the bench. Second free throw. This one's up and good for Janaea Cleveland. Now, Vermillion would probably have a traditionally 5-deep bench, but never was able to see James Drake this year due to an early heel injury at the beginning of the season. She's been out ever since, and she will not return for this season, just hoping to get her healthy for the track season. She's an amazing track athlete, and hopefully she'll stay with it, come back for basketball coming up for her junior year. 49-22, 138, third quarter. After the foul that went against the Tanagers, the foul was called on Brooklyn Voss, her first of the evening, third team foul. First free throw is hit for Madison Orr. Again, the leading scorer for the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. She now has 9 points in the ball game, hits the second free throw, and with that, she has 10 on the evening. 49-24, 92 seconds remaining third quarter. It's Janaea Cleveland getting some space. Bounce pass back out to Brooklyn Voss. Now over to Claire Doty. Claire Doty to free throw line. She's bumped into by Katie Knodel trying to cut off the space. Katie now picks up her third personal, all coming in this third quarter. 5th team foul. Again, she will stay out there for now. 1:24 remaining in the third quarter. It's Casey Hansen over to Voss. Voss pump fakes, drives in, and able to finish it off. It's the first points for Brooklyn Voss, who averages just over 6.5 off the bench. But again, first points for her this evening, 51-24. Knodel trying to get by Janaea Cleveland. She's double teamed, picks up her dribble. Now works it over to McDonald. To O'Malley. 3-pointer. It's good for Nora O'Malley. 4 points for her in the third quarter, 7 for the ball game, 51-27. Under a minute remaining, it's Hansen. Pass to Voss, 3-pointer. This one's off the heel, but it's going to be rebound by Janaea Cleveland. Back out to Mulherron, to the top with Claire Doty. Straight away 3. This one is just off the right of the iron. Rebounded by Emma Marshall. Marshall quickly across the timeline. Trying to get by Janaea Cleveland. Finally picks up her dribble, works it to Katie Knodel with the shot clock off. 22 seconds remaining third quarter. Katie Knodel drives in, now has to pick up her dribble. Back to the top, they work with O'Malley. Back over to Katie. Down to the left block with Marshall. Using her pivot foot, back out to Katie Knodel. Free throw line drive, and as she's driving, she's tripped up. Foul called. With 9.8 remaining in the third quarter. Foul against the Tanagers, their 4th team. And it's also called on Janaea Cleveland, her second personal. 51-27. 9.8 remaining third quarter. Deep inbound. Caught by O'Malley. O'Malley dribbled behind the back. Still O'Malley inside the lane. Now pass back out to McDonald. McDonald, a floater. Trying to get her shot before the buzzer. Offensive rebound, but not a shot in time for Madison Orr. And that is the end of the third quarter. Vermillion has it in hand as we head to the 4th and final frame. Your score right now after 3. Vermillion 51. Irene-Wakonda 27. We're back in 60 seconds on ESPN Radio.
Pup and Pack told me to keep this video simple, so I don't need to tell you about the great selections on drinks. You probably already know he has a South Dakota DMV Now kiosk to renew your license plates. Snacks, too many of those to even mention. Oh, and when you fill up that Pump and Pack, Kevin gives a portion of the money back to a charity. I guess I really don't know what to talk about. Simple enough. Pump and Pack in Vermillion.
Let's be real. You have a business to run, people to pay, money to make, and a life to balance. Good thing you also have First Bank and Trust. With our cash management solutions, you can issue payroll, accept payments, and manage cash flow, all while tapping into some of the best fraud prevention tools available. When managing a business is easier for you, so is managing a family. First Bank and Trust. Real banking, real easy. Member FDIC, Equal Opportunity Lender.
The perfection you deserve. Good luck from Thread and Ink, Vermillion.
We begin the fourth quarter, 51-27, 7:50 fourth quarter as the Eagles will begin with the basketball, and it is a quick turnover. Vermillion will have it as they bring it across the timeline. Now both teams back out in their starting 5 to kind of give them a little bit more playing time and to finish this one out. Bounce pass from Brooke Jensen. Great assist to Leah Herbster. And with that, Leah Herbster now hits double figures for tonight. So 3 different Tanagers have hit that double figure mark. Herbster with 11 points in the ball game. Leading the way is Jensen with 17 and 14 for Casey Hansen. It's on the far wing, McDonald. Now to the elbow. Back out to Katie Knodel. Knodel tries to force a pass. It's going to be deflected in the air. Quickly opposite way, it's Casey Hansen. A 2-on-1. She'll attack it, but her shot blocked away cleanly by Marshall. Katie Knodel the opposite way now from the pass from Marshall. She has it knocked out of her hand. Picked up by the Eagles. 3-pointer straight away for Marshall. Hits Emma Marshall. Gets her first points of the second half. 8 for the ball game. 53-30. 23-point lead for Vermillion. And now Marshall will steal it away from Casey Hansen. Marshall quickly the opposite way. Up off the glass. She's fouled. Can't hit her shot, but she'll head to the free throw line to shoot two. The foul called against Chandler Cleveland, picking up her third personal and the 15th foul. Both teams have picked up 5 team fouls here in this second half. 53-30, 6:37 fourth quarter. First free throw. This one is good for Emma Marshall. Now 9 points for her this evening. Again, don't forget, this is game number 1 of 2 coming up tonight. The boys to follow right afterwards. You can hear, of course, right here ESPN Radio. And if you're watching on Vermillion streaming, do not need to click to go anywhere. In fact, coming up on our pregame show, we'll hear from both Coach Stephen Lee and Jay Drake of the Eagles and Tanagers, respectively, about tonight's matchup and trying to finish off the season. The Eagles on the boys' side, 6-10 overall. Three-pointer knocked down from Brooke Jensen. With that, she now has 20 points in the ball game. Back up to a 24-point lead for the Vermillion Tanagers. Their biggest lead has been of 26. Marshall, so block back out. Katie Canolo, far jumper for her, off the mark. Rebounded by the Eagles, but can't finish it off that time, is Madison Orr. Opposite way, it's Hansen. Trying to get some space in the perimeter. Kicks it back out now to Regneris. Again, the Eagle boys finishing off my thought from earlier. 6-10 overall. They have come close in a lot of games so far this season, but just haven't necessarily been able to finish it off. Hansen has it, backing her way in. Turn around, trying to body up Marshall. Leaves her shot short. Picked up by the Eagles. Quickly up to O'Malley on the far wing. Nora O'Malley inside the lane to Marshall. She bumps into Leah Herbster. Back out to Katie Canodal. She'll put up the three off the mark, but then go right to O'Malley. Her jumper is deflected in the air by Leah Herbster. Finds the hands of Madison Orr. She can't hit her shot off the side of the iron. Tanagers the opposite way. Olivia Regneris has it stolen away, though, by Katie Canodal, and Canodal will easily finish it for 2. Katie Canodal now 7 points in the ball game, and we're going to get stoppage in play. Looks like a hairband came loose. No, it was the Band-Aids of Leah Herbster as she takes off the other one. She lost her left Band-Aid on her knee and then just ripped off the right one. Getting Tanagers, we talk about being banged up and bruised coming into these games. 56-34, a 22-point lead for the Tanagers. They have this one in hand. Just trying to put the finishing touches on it now. It's Regneris, pump fakes the three, drives in. Regneris is the only starter not to score yet tonight for the Tanagers. Up to Chandler, she can't hit her shot. And then Chandler Cleveland, Leah Herbster bump into each other on the rebound. But then a foul called against the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. The 16th foul, and it will be called against Madison Orr, picking up her first personal. Hansen will inbound it to Jensen. Jensen down at the block, puts up her shot off the side of the backboard, but gets it back. Leah Herbster goes up over the top of Orr, then is hit in the face as she falls to the ground. Foul called on Orr, quickly picking up her second personal, 17th foul, so bonus upcoming now for Vermillion. 56-34, and we'll also say goodbye to the starters for the Vermillion Tanagers. Casey Hansen will finish with 14 points in the ball game. Brooke Jensen will finish with 20 points this evening. Livy Regneris does not score, and also Chandler Cleveland will check out, finishing with 4 points on the evening. Leah Herbster right now shooting a 1-1, currently having 11 points. Again, she's one of 3 Tanagers that has hit double figures tonight. First free throw is good, giving her 12. Casey Hansen does stay out there. They have Mulheron Voss, Leah Herbster, Janaea Cleveland, and Casey Hansen currently on the court. Second free throw is good. So they're going to keep Hansen out there and check off Leah Herbster. So Leah Herbster will finish with 13 points. Again, Casey Hansen right now out there with 14 points. We'll see head coach John Brooks go a little bit deeper into his bench coming up here in a little bit. Three-pointer on the left corner, knocked down for Emma Marshall. With that, Marshall now has 8 points in this fourth quarter, 13 for the ball game, 58-37. Do have to love the fight, the hustle, the effort that we have seen from the Eagles certainly have not given this one up. Now, the Eagles, no matter what, win or lose tonight, will get some extra seed points, 2 additional seed points, because they are playing up in competition. Cleveland drives in, has it knocked away by Marshall. So that's always beneficial if you're the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. 58-37, 3:48 fourth quarter. Now, this is usually a matchup that for the girls we see later on in the season. Floater from Voss falls through. For the Vermillion boys, it's usually a matchup that we see earlier in the season, and for the girls later in the season, but this year have made this a true doubleheader. Three-pointer from Marshall once again is off the mark, rebounded by Voss. Vermillion coming the opposite way with Casey Hansen. Hansen in the lane, scoots by one defender, but she's going to be fouled by Emma Marshall, picking up her third personal and the 8th team foul. It will be 2 free throws upcoming for Casey Hansen. Right now at halftime, T Area leads over Lennox 17-7. I can't believe that's a true score right now. Lennox only 7 points in that first half. Even the Lady Titans 17. Must be extremely defensive. Second free throw, Casey Hansen is able to hit them both, and with that, she'll now check out of the basketball game. She'll finish with 16 points in the evening. Livy Regneris is back in to run the offense. Again, she's the only starter right now out there for the Tangers, and the only starter not to score. But again, she doesn't really score a lot. She gives a lot of great assists. That's more of what she is known for, and her defensive play as well. Now foul along the baseline as the Pumpkin got loose there. Commit the foul against the Eagles, their 9th team foul. We'll still see another 1-and-1 upcoming. Shooting the free throws will be Livy Regneris. The foul called against Emma Marshall, now her 4th personal. Other score updates, Elk Point Jefferson leads it over Beersford and Region 4A action. The score is 20-9. Otherwise, that's the only score updates that we have seen. No score update yet from Dakota Valley and Del Rapids. Maybe I'll shoot a text to a person there covering that game. 62-37, 3 minutes, fourth quarter. The free throw was off the mark for Livy Regneris. Quickly the opposite way, the Eagles can't knock it in and goes out of bounds. Vermillion basketball. Can you talk about the Irene-Wakonda Eagles finishing up their season, coming up into next week? Still have Bridgewater Emory coming up on Tuesday, and then wrapping up their season on Thursday on the road against Canastota. So if you're an Eagles fan, make sure you make it to the gym, as the Eagles will be back home on Tuesday to take on Bridgewater Emory in a doubleheader. Livy Regneris bounced past to Claire Doty. Her foot was on the line when she caught it. Quick turnover. Again, the Irene-Wakonda Eagles coming into this matchup tonight, 11-6 overall, and it's also a kind of a tough fight right now in Region 5B, where the Eagles find themselves in 3rd. They do have a little bit of breathing room between Freeman and then also Centerville and Viber Curley still fighting for that number 1 spot and top of the region. Viber Curley 14-3 overall, but have played a little bit tougher competition, whereas Centerville has been 17-1. Again, Irene-Wakonda 11-6, then 8-9, but three different teams of Freeman, Scotland, and Gayville Vollet. Livy Regneris and Janaea Cleveland now check out of the ball game, and we see more backups come onto the court, including Barta is on, along with Mackenzie Richardson, and also Baylor on the court for the Tangers. Claire Doty has it, drives in, her shot is off the mark, fight for the rebound. Claire Doty gets spun around by Orr. A jump ball is called. It will be Vermillion basketball. 1:57 remaining here in this fourth quarter, 62-37. A pass is going to be stolen right away by Nora O'Malley. Quickly up to Marshall. Marshall drives in, and she is going to be fouled by Mulherron, so she'll head to the free throw line to shoot 2. Again, don't forget the Core Insurance pregame show is coming up here in just a moment. On the boys' side of action, we'll sit down with both head coach Stephen Lee and head coach Jay Drake and talk about this matchup this evening. 62-38, as the first free throw is good for Emma Marshall. She right now has 14 points in the ball game, and now we'll start to see more backups come onto the court for the Eagles. We'll play a little bit of JV action. Second free throw for Marshall. This one is good as well. Now 10 points in this fourth quarter, 15 for her in the ball game. 62-39, 105 seconds remaining. Sparta back out to Baylor. Baylor kicks it over to Doty. Doty drives to the free throw line. Now to Mulheron. Mulheron drives in using her right hand, able to finish it off. Kenzie Mulheron, her first 2 points on the evening. Also, while we have our chance, our Latte Da player of the game coming up here in just a moment. Shot finished off, though, for Caitlin, her first 2 points of the night. Our Latte Da player of the game will go to Brooke Jensen, who finishes with 20 points. But for Brooke Jensen, she has been struggling as of late, scoring, just trying to find her rhythm, but was able to do so, including hitting 3 threes in that first quarter, really giving a spark to the Vermillion Tanagers and never looking back from there. So congratulations to Brooke Jensen, our Latte Da player of the game. Make tomorrow morning, on that Saturday morning, a great morning with that great cup of coffee. You can stop by the drive-thru window or give Sandy a call for the perfect order. That's Latte Da player of the game, Brooke Jensen, right across from North Complex is where Latte Da is located. Three-pointer off the mark, and the rebound offensively back up is Caitlin for the Eagles. She now has a quick 4 points, 64-43. Vermillion leads it by 21. It is 7 seconds that separate the shot clock from the game clock. It's Richardson in the lane, down to Baylor. Baylor is able to hit the shot. Baylor, her first 2 points tonight, 66-43. Controlled for the Eagles. Some space in the lane, back out. McDonald three-pointer. This one rims in and out. Rebounded Richardson. And Vermillion will be able to hold on for the final few seconds. And again, the Vermillion girls get an all-important win tonight by 23 points and improve to 14-5 overall. And with that, will claim the number 2 spot inside Region 4A playoffs that are coming up in under 2 weeks' time, which will mean home court advantage throughout the region playoffs, which will be oh so important, especially if Vermillion can get to that second round. Your final score, once again, in game number 1, Vermillion 66, Irene-Wakonda 43. We'll step aside for 30 seconds, and when we come back, it's the Core Insurance pregame show for the boys. That's on the way next here on ESPN.
I've got a math question for you. When you add tolerance, subtract prejudice, and multiply efforts to treat one another with respect, what do you get? Less division. And school sports have it down to a science. Looking for an example of what can happen when we realize there's more that unites us than divides us? Look no further than high school sports in South Dakota.
This message presented by the South Dakota High School Activities Association and the South Dakota Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
Today.
It's time to advance into our next pregame show, the Core Insurance pregame show here on ESPN Radio and Vermillion Streaming, as we're getting you set for game number 2 here inside the Birdcage between the Vermillion Tanagers and the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. Well, it's a big bounce back game for the Vermillion boys, and also which begins a stretch of being at home. In fact, the last 5 games of the Tanager season include 4 at home, including this game tonight. Again, the boys overall coming in at 9-6, and right now 4th inside Region 4. Also taking a look at the Irene-Wakonda Eagles, they're 6-10 overall, and still fighting for a tough spot within their region down in Class B. And to talk more about where they find themselves in the matchup tonight, it's time to get to our coaches' interviews with head coach Jay Drake here in just a moment. But we open up with head coach Stephen Lee of the Irene-Wakonda Eagles, talking about his season so far, how the Eagles have come so close but have not been able to capitalize on opportunities. Coach Lee, right now on the Core Insurance pregame show.
Well, Coach Lee, getting closer to winding up your season, get a matchup with the Vermillion Tanagers. But before we talk about this matchup against Vermillion, I want to go back to your season so far. Overall, 6-10. But when looking at your schedule, it seems like your team has been oh so close to maybe being 10-6, even better than that, always coming out on the wrong end of close games. How has this season gone for your squad, and why does it always seem like you're always on the wrong side of the coin?
Yeah, we've, like you said, we're kind of been on the wrong side of some of those tough games, and just haven't been able to get over the hump. Just kind of been up and down, and kind of goes night to night. Some nights you'll play really well, the night it's complete opposite. So just playing consistent basketball is what we need to do right now.
You talk about playing consistent basketball. How tough is it for you to do that when you play up a class? Or does the squad not even notice that you play Class A teams like Vermillion, like Canton?
There is that little intimidation factor, I would say, with, just playing a Class A school, and especially with playing teams that play in tough conferences. And, it kind of gets in the guys' heads a little bit, but you just try to relax them, and it's just another night to play basketball. So we try to just go out there and do what we do and do it to the best of our ability.
Yeah, and you're getting close to wrapping up your season as well before you hop down, finish off the season with some Class B teams. Is this kind of maybe your last true test? I know you have some great games yet upcoming, Bridgewater, Emory, and even Canastota yet on the schedule, but is this a big test to see where you're going to be at with your squad for postseason?
Yeah, Vermillion is going to be really tough, and that's always a tough game for us. So, sometimes you can look at it like, yeah, that is a true test, but I think even next week, just seeing where we're at when we go out and compete against Bridgewater, Emory, and Canastota, those are two really good teams, and I think we'll kind of know a little bit more once we play some of those Class B schools, because we're not playing, obviously, up to Class A. So.
And this team is also on a 6-game losing streak. How important is it to try to find a couple wins here at the end of the season just to build confidence going into region play?
Yeah, we definitely need to. Gotta just keep scrapping and trying to get after it, just to scrape by and get some wins here to boost the confidence and head into region play with hopefully a couple more wins.
And talking about region play, you find yourself in Region 5 in Class B. 9 teams come out of that region. Extremely kind of clumped together between 3, 4, 5, even finding yourself 6 and 7 right now.
Yeah.
How important is that end of the race going to be when looking at it? And have you tried to figure out where you might be at the end of the season?
You're always looking and just trying to figure it out, but you just got to kind of focus on the games that you have ahead, and then, by the time it's done and over with, then we'll see where we're at, and hopefully in a good spot to put ourselves in a spot to win, and try to get some wins in that region.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough, and there's some tough teams. So we'll see where we're at.
Yeah, there definitely are some tough teams, as we mentioned, very bunched together yet as well. Well, when looking at the Vermillion Tanagers, as you mentioned, 5 seniors once again. This team is 9-6 overall, but don't let the record fool you. As you said earlier, they play in the DAC-12, very extremely tough conference, one of the best in the state. What have you seen on Vermillion that you really need to look at and shut down with their team?
They just have great inside-out game. Great guards, and Nick Sorensen just holds it down in the middle, and he's a tough guard all around. He's a man amongst the boys sometimes. Actually, most nights. He really is, man. He makes a difference out there, and it's tough, especially if you're trying to focus on him, and then you got Jake Jensen out there just lighting you up from 3. So, we're gonna have our work cut out for us.
Yeah, you talk about the size as well of Nick Sorensen. Who do you look at from your team to try to shut down Nick?
We'll try to rely on Miles Pullman. He's kind of a stockier build, but obviously not 6'5", and then our 6'9" guy, he's obviously not stocky either, so it's going to hopefully have a combination and try to double him a little bit with those guys and see how it goes.
Yeah, it should be an interesting contest, as you say, trying to shut down Nick Sorensen, especially being him a senior as well. He has that experience underneath of his belt and trying to get it done. Well, Coach, what's the final message you send to your guys, not only for this game, but finishing out the regular season, trying to finish on a good note and a strong note?
We just got to come out every single night and control what we can control. We always talk control our attitude and effort, and that's what we really need to do these last few games.
Once again, that is head coach Stephen Lee of the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. All right, talking about trying to bounce back with his team and how nice it is to be playing at home to wrap up the regular season and how much need to generate momentum going into region play. Here is head coach Jay Drake of the Vermillion Tanagers. Coach Drake, we look at what happened on Tuesday night against Dakota Valley. You mentioned it in our post-game interview. It's one of the worst losses that your squad has had in quite some time, losing by almost 20 points against an amazing Panthers team. Don't take anything away against Dakota Valley. But now going off that, how does this team respond closing out the regular season and knowing regions are less than 3 weeks away?
Yeah, like you said, and like we talked about the other night, give Dakota Valley a lot of credit. And yet they put us in a position that we haven't been in much or in a long time, especially in that fourth quarter. First half didn't look the way we wanted it to. The game was their pace, and we scored some points, but obviously didn't defend and gave up a lot of points. And then even late third quarter, we're still we always feel as a coaching staff, if we can have the game at single digits or around single digits, in the fourth quarter, you're giving yourself a fighting chance. And I think we called timeout with about 3 minutes to go in the third quarter, and I think it was 11 at the time, and we just trying to get our guys and said, hey, let's get it to single digits going into the fourth and see what happens. And it was 13 at the end of 3, and again, we were hoping to make a push early fourth, get it to single digits, get a little run, and just give ourselves a chance, see what happens. And instead it went the other way. They pushed it to 18-19 right away in the fourth quarter, and then it just kind of hung around 20. So position we haven't been in recent years, and a lot of that was on us and things we did the other night, and you always got to give Dakota Valley a lot of credit. But it's for our guys, it's good to get back in the gym tonight, get another game in, and really it's our home stretch now, final quarter of the season with these last 5 games, and they'll go by pretty fast. Playing a game tonight, and then obviously we go Monday, Tuesday next week, and then next Friday. So we're playing 4 games here basically in 1 week. And like we've said in the throughout the year, you always want to, and all teams will say this, you want to be playing your best basketball at the end of the year, and we've got to get there and want to get there, and it's got to start by playing well tonight.
You talk about being at home, and I can speak to that, of course, following the girls as well. It seems like it's been a long time where there hasn't been a lot of games inside the birdcage. As you mentioned, last 5 games this season, 4 of those at home. How nice is it to play in front of your home crowd, to be familiar with your surroundings, and just have more of a kind of basic routine and not having to worry about loading up a bus so early, playing through games, waiting around, then making the long bus trip back home? How much does that play a factor?
Yeah, I think we try to always tell our kids we don't care where we play, home, neutral floor, away, indoors, outdoors. We'll play wherever, and we got to be able to compete and play well. And yet there is some truth to what you said. And we were just kind of joking a few minutes ago before we got on air here about even today. It's a cold, windy day out there Friday. And one of the things, just from my standpoint, I was thinking, man, I'm glad we don't have to get on a bus today, and drive in the weather. It's nice being at home, and our guys, we feel we can play well anywhere, but we've played well, and really, I think I was thinking about it the other day. I think in our last 3 years, going back to a few years ago, the last 3 seasons, we've only lost 2 home games. So obviously a couple of years ago we lost to T at home, and obviously they got us at home again this year. But other than that, I can't recall us losing a home game. And we've usually played well, and you're comfortable in your environment and what's going on. And like you said, having 4 of our last 5 at home hopefully we can reap the benefits of some of that.
We'll get ready to take on the Irene-Wakonda Eagles, and no doubt about it, even talking with Coach Lee, he knows how experienced your team is compared to his. It is also a little bit of factor that he mentioned. Yes, this is a Class A versus a Class B. There is a little bit more talent when it comes to the Class A, even moving up to AA as well. You see that. What do you look at with the Irene-Wakonda Eagles, and how much do you think there is a factor when it comes to playing Class A versus Class B?
Yeah, it depends on the matchups, obviously, and you know, obviously from a number standpoint, sometimes the larger school has a little bit more to go from, or guys out and athletes, which can really have an effect on a game, and just from the depth standpoint too. With that said, you know, we look at DeSmet, who's kind of the cream of the crop in Class B. I would say if they were a Class A school, they would have a chance to win Class A as well as anyone. You know, they've played and beaten Sioux Valley and St. Thomas More, and obviously would be able to hang in there with anyone in Class A. So Coach Lee has done a nice job over there. It's a team we've played now. You know, Irene-Wakonda, I think this is probably about the 5th, 6th year now that we've played them in boys basketball. It's the first time we've played them late in the year, though. We've always played them usually that first week of the season or before Christmas. And our girls had added them here in the last few years, and the girls had always played them late, and they wanted to try to get it into a girl-boy doubleheader, and this kind of worked for both programs playing at this time. So it's, you know, we're in such a grind here, and, you know, a lot of our games recently this time of year have been DAC-12 games or Region 4 games with Beersford a week ago and stuff. So it takes us out of the normal Class A grind, and yet, you know, like any game, you got to go out and you got to compete and you got to play well. And the one thing you find out in high school sports is, and it doesn't matter what the sport is, if you don't kind of lace them up each night, and if you're not mentally locked in and physically ready to go, it doesn't matter who you're playing. So they've got some guys, a lot of their guys, they're still a quite young team, but a lot of those guys all played here the last few years for them, and they're pretty balanced. And, you know, they'll show some zone, I'm sure, tonight. And they got the 6'9" kid, the cool kid that has started some this year and has come off the bench as well. But very similar to the Garrettson 6'8", 6'9" kid we saw a few weeks ago. And that's always a concern, having that much height and being able to stand in a zone and kind of pack it in. And if you're not shooting well from the perimeter, you can find yourself in a hole in a hurry.
Well, going off, taking nothing away against Irene-Wakonda and what this season carries, I talked to Coach Clace Tuesday evening after the win for Dakota Valley. He said, one thing that I hate about the playoffs is that we're going to see Vermillion again. They might be the most dangerous team when it comes to the regions. And going off that, Coach, you know how quickly postseason is approaching. How important is it to finish these last 5 games with 5 W's and be one of the biggest threats going into Region 4A?
Yeah, that's the goal. You know, we talked to our guys in the locker room after the game, and there's no guarantees, but we feel with our schedule here, these last 5 games, if we play, we can get a little stretch here where we can win 5 in a row. And like we told our kids, our goal right now, you always say what the end goal is, and I know our guys would like to get back to a state tournament, but the big thing for us right now is to kind of improve over the next few weeks, be playing good basketball, build some confidence, and try to earn an opportunity to get a chance and to go to Dakota Valley and play them again. And we didn't feel we played our best the other night. And we know there's no guarantees on that, as we're probably, like we've discussed the last few weeks, we're probably looking at a 4 or 5 matchup with the EPJ, and they've had a really nice season, and they have some real nice wins. But we're trying to get that game in our gym, and if we can win some games down the stretch, we will the 4 seed, and obviously we'll have to try to knock them off in the first round. But if we can do that, we'd like to get ourselves a chance at DB again.
Once again, that is head coach Jay Drake here on our Core Insurance pregame show, talking about how important it is to get 5 wins to finish off this regular season and head into the regions where it already seems like Vermillion is locked up that number 4 seed. Now, that is not necessarily a guarantee yet. With some losses, they could bump themselves even down to that 5th position and be on the road for the region. So it is important to find wins when they can do so. All right, let's get into our starting lineups, but here in just a moment, if you're watching on Vermillion streaming, once again, that huddle focus camera will kick in here in about 2 minutes time at 7:45. So you're going to continue to see that orange screen for a couple more minutes before we get to our starting lineups and opening tip. And speaking of our starting lineups, actually, let's get to those right now. We'll begin with the Irene-Wakonda Eagles, who are in their black uniforms, numbers and letters that are in blue, outlined by white. Tonight's starting lineup will feature number 4, Connor Libby, the 5'11 senior guard, number 10, Dashel Sporrell, the 5'9 junior guard, number 21, Miles Pullman, the 6'3 junior forward, number 23, Mason Johnson, the 5'10 senior guard, and number 25, Garrett Libby, the 5'11 junior forward. Again, a lot of size, and one that does not start but will come off and give big minutes off the bench for the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. A name to watch for is Jake Kuhl, the 6'9 sophomore forward. For the Vermillion Tantrums, of course, it is the 5 seniors that have been dominant so far this season and are looking to end their regular season on the best note possible and head in to be one of the most dangerous teams in all of Class A and to try to make some upsets. The starting 5 will be number 12, Charlie Wood, the 6-foot guard. Number 33, Jake Jensen, the 6'3 guard. Number 34, Carter Mart, the 6'2 guard. Number 35, TJ Tracy, the 6'2 forward. And number 40, Nick Sorensen, the 6'5 forward. Of course, all stars for the Vermillion Tanagers are all seniors. As again, we talk about closing out their season. Vermillion coming into tonight's matchup, 9-6 overall. Just under 42 seed points. Inside Region 4, they are 2-3, and inside the DAC-12, 3-6. After last year, they were the DAC-12 champions, and of course, that was all part of their undefeated season they had last year before being upset in the first round of the state tournament. Again, that huddle focus camera has now clicked back on. We are set and we are ready to rock and roll for game number 2 of our doubleheader. And game number 1, the Vermillion girls took care of business and also wrapped up the number 2 spot of the Region 4A playoffs. They're still coming up here in a little bit's time. Now, Vermillion girls, they wrap up their season next Friday, but again, got the win over the Irene-Wakonda Eagles, 66-43 in game number 1 of the evening. Head coach Jay Drake meets with his troops one final time at the free throw line. They break huddle. Again, the Tanagers in their white uniforms, numbers and letters that are in red. Once again, the Irene-Wakonda Eagles in their black uniforms, numbers and letters that are in blue. Meeting in the center circle include Miles Pullman and Nick Sorensen. We're set and ready to go for game number 2 of the evening. The official steps into the center circle, throws it up in the air. Nick Sorensen will win the opening tap, and we are underway. Charlie Ward wearing a left brace once again, as he's gone in and out of wearing a brace so far this season. Gets it now to Sorensen in the lane. Back out to Charlie Ward, to the top with Jake Jensen. Swinging over the far perimeter. Rainbow pass back to the near side with Charlie Ward. To the top with Jake Jensen. Pump fakes, almost has it knocked away. Jensen double teamed over to Carter Mart. 8 seconds on the shot clock for the Tanagers. The elbow with Sorensen. Back out to Jake Jensen. Corner 3 for him. It's off this side of the iron. Offensive rebound for Carter Mart. Inside the lane. Gets the floor to go. Charlie Ward. The Tanagers get a second opportunity and are able to punch home the first points. The press is on for Vermillion. We haven't seen this a whole lot this year. The Eagles, though, are able to break it. They have it with Mason Johnson. Back to the top now with Libby. Libby brings it to the free throw line, picks up his dribble, works it to Sporrell. Out to the near corner now, once again with Sporrell. Back to the top, three-pointer is off the mark for Connor Libby. 2-0, 6:50 first quarter. An interesting take on a three-pointer for Libby, the way he shot that. Missed shot for TJ Tracy. That's what got the attention of up here in the bird nest. Speaking of Libby, he has it. Back to the top with Mason Johnson. Johnson drives in, puts his floater. It's a couple Tanagers that hit the ground. Also, Garrett Libby hit the ground. Now, the officials did get together with the team captains before this game and had a conversation at the center circle. Three-pointer for Mart. This one's off the mark. I do kind of wonder what that was about. It's not often that you see officials get together with captains before the game unless you know it's going to be chippy. So far, this one really hasn't been so. A floater, this one knocked through for Dashel Spurrell. We're tied at 2 apiece. 6:03 first quarter. So far, a lot of missed shots for both teams. Jensen, no look pass, back to Charlie Ward. Now to Tracy in the lane. Bounce pass down to Jake Jensen. He was wide open, and Jensen collects his first points. 4-2, 5:46 first quarter. In the backcourt, it's Connor Libby. Up to the near wing now with Mason Johnson. To the near corner with Pullman. Back to Connor Libby, baseline. Makes his pass down to Pullman, knocked away by Charlie Ward in the lane. Will go out of bounds. Stay with the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. 4-2, 5:32 first quarter. Bounce pass into Garrett Libby. Back out to Dashel Spurrell. Now to Connor Libby. Working in the lane. High pass, though. Going to be tipped in the air by the Tanagers. And now as Charlie Ward makes his move into the front court, Mason Johnson pushes him. Johnson will pick up his first and the first team foul as well. 4-2, 5:17 first quarter. Charlie Ward across the timeline. Now to Jake Jensen, near corner. Down to the left block with Nick Sorensen. Over to the opposite block now with Carter Mart. Back out to Mart. He made the pass to TJ Tracy. Trying to body themselves up in the lane. A shot short, left for Sorensen. TJ Tracy, though, collected, went back up with it. He was fouled and will head to the free throw line. The second team foul quickly on the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. And the foul will go against Connor Libby, picking up his first personal. And again, TJ Tracy will shoot 2 free throws. First one is off the mark. Hit the front of the iron, then shot off to the left. Vermillion still holding on to that 2-point lead, 4-2, 4:59 first quarter. Second free throw. This one is up and gets it to go. TJ Tracy. First point for him on the evening. 4:53 first quarter. It's Libby. Makes the pass now to Spurrell. Quick to the baseline, jumper off the mark for Garrett Libby, but it's an offensive rebound. Back up is Pullman, and Miles Pullman has his first 2 points. Vermillion not able to box out, and offensively haven't necessarily been able to find the rhythm inside the lane, playing against this zone defense from the Eagles. Catch and shoot 3 for Ward. This one is off the mark. Rebounded, though, by Carter Mart. Back out. 3-pointer for Jake Jensen. He connects. Jake Jensen, 5 points. 8-4, biggest lead for the Tanagers. Again, the press is on, but the Eagles easily break it. Now with Connor Libby. Work it to the corner, and now dribbling it all the way back to the top is Spurrell. Still Spurrell picks up his dribble, works it to the far wing. Now down to Pullman. Pullman goes up with a shot, but deflects away, gets it back himself. Can't connect the second time. It goes out of bounds. They say last touched by the Tanagers. 3:55 first quarter. A low-scoring affair here in the opening half of this quarter. To inbound the basketball will be Spurrell, right in front of the Tanager bench. Gets it into Libby. Back to Spurrell. Spurrell driving baseline. Pull-up jumper. Gets it. Dashel Spurrell, now 4 points for him. Neither team has gone to the bench yet. We still remain out with the starting 5. Charlie Ward. Jake Jensen, who made a pass or was a shot. He went up like he was shooting it, but it looked like he was trying to pass it down to Nick Sorensen. Whatever that might have been, it went out of bounds. Nobody touched it, so it will be turnover. Eagle basketball. Speaking of Irene, they have it, trying to work it back out, and a deflection will keep it with turnover, the Vermillion basketball. And now we'll see the first substitution for the Tanagers as Carter Mart will come out in zone. Robinson will come in. 8-6, 3:20 first quarter. It's Robinson Catch and shoot three. This one off the mark. Rebound, though, by Sorensen. The big man goes up, can't finish off with his left hand. Ball's being tipped around and still being knocked around. Finally controlled by Connor Libby. Quickly the opposite way, 8-6, 3 minutes remaining in this first quarter. Pass can be deflected by Jake Jensen. He comes away with it, and Jensen is able to finish it off. Jake Jensen now with 7 points for the Vermillion Tanagers. Out of the 10 they have scored, 10-6. Just a 4-point lead, driving in. It's an off-balance shot. TJ Tracy climbs the ladder to get the rebound. He's being hassled in the backcourt. Finally gets it to Charlie Ward. Up to Jake Jensen. Jensen quickly the opposite way. Dribbles it out to the corner. Now drives baseline. Pass into Sorensen. Sorensen, he's going to be triple teamed, trying to break free, and a foul called on the reach-in. Foul against Mason Johnson, picking up now his second personal and the third team foul. How soon do we see Cool come to the basketball game, waiting that 6'9" monster that can really cause havoc for any team trying to defend him? Charlie Ward makes the quarterback pass on the inbound to Robinson. Robinson drives in, puts up the floater. It's off the mark and rebounded by the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. 2:17 first quarter, still a 4-point lead. It's Libby. Libby still has it down to the block. Now we'll kick it back out to the top to reset the offense with his brother Garrett. Trying to direct traffic now. The arms of Mason Johnson. To Libby. To Connor, down to Pullman, who is wide open. And Pullman continues to have a good night. He now has 4 points. 10-8. Irene is not out of this. Again, coming into this matchup, Vermillion favored heavily, but only leading it by 2 right now. Free throw line at Sorensen. He has it knocked away. And Coach Lee talks so much about Nick Sorensen in our pregame show and how he said they need to shut down Sorensen. And the Eagles have done a great job. And now a foul away from the basketball will go against Charlie Ward for positioning, battling in the lane. So Ward picks up his first personal, first team foul. Sorensen will come out for the first time tonight. And coming in will be coming in is Carter Skogsberg. Skogsberg is quickly tucking in his jersey. Wasn't necessarily maybe ready to check in. And now a quick foul on the inbound will go against the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. Recently checking in was Jens Hansen, who picks up the foul. So his first and the fourth team foul gives it right back to the Vermillion Tanagers. 10-8. Under 90 seconds remaining in this first quarter. It's Charlie Ward trying to make the pass to Jensen. It's deflected right back to him. Carter Hansen, who recently checked on, loses it, picks it back up along the far sideline. Back out to Charlie Ward. Ward doesn't use the screen of Jake Jensen, and then a charge taken by the Eagles. And Dashel Sproul, the foul called on Charlie Ward, which is now his second personal, the second team foul. And Carter Mart is going to come in, and Charlie Ward will take a spot on the bench. So Vermillion has not found rhythm to their offense. Leading it by 2, 10-8, 112, first quarter. And Cool comes onto the court for the first time tonight as Coach Lee has started going a little bit deeper into his bench. Now controlled with the Eagles, trying to get some space, is Sproul. Work it over to Connor Libby, who has it on the near wing. Bounce pass to Hansen in the corner. Back to the top with Cool, the 6'9" man. Love to see him inside the paint where he can be dominant. Trying to get it down inside. Ball's being tipped around. They won the work it to Pullman. Goes out, last touch by Carter Hansen. It will stay with the Eagles in 7 seconds on the shot clock. 43 seconds remaining in this first quarter. They get to Hansen. Now to Sproul. Sproul will shoot the three. This one rims in and out. Rebound by Pullman. He goes back up. And Miles Pullman with 6 points in the ball game. We are tied at 10 apiece. Vermillion will be able to hold on for the last second shot. It's Jensen back over to Robinson. Robinson back to Jensen, who's just holding on to it at the Tanager logo. Vermillion trying to take a lead to end this first quarter. This last possession is huge for Vermillion. Want to try to grab some momentum from a Class B Eagles team that has stayed into it. Hansen with 5 seconds. He's falling over, just throws up a pass in the air, stolen away by Cool. Cool put up a last-second heave. This one's well off the mark, and that's the end of quarter number 1. But right now, the Irene-Wakonda Eagles are staying in it. We're tied at 10 apiece. We'll step aside. We're back in 60 seconds here on ES.
Hey, I think I'll take the day off.
Is your old furnace talking back to you?
You're flying solo today, pal. I need a little me time.
The Kalen's Indoor Comfort Pros can repair your grumpy old furnace or replace it with a new high-efficiency Lennox system.
Yeah, sorry. I just can't seem to move any air today.
We'll see about that. Get a dependable Lennox system from Kalen's and start saving today.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact: Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest. So you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Visit masabainc.com/careers.
Well, after quarter number one, the Irene-Wakonda Eagles have certainly made things interesting and have the Vermillion Tanagers tied up, and the Eagles will begin with the basketball to get underway here in this second quarter. The Eagles in their black uniforms moving from left to right, as you see on your radio dial, and also with Vermillion streaming. Speaking of the Eagles, also looking for their first lead of the night. They control it with Libby. Libby's going to drive in. Now kick it back out to Pullman, who had some big points in that first quarter. Now down to Cool. The 6'9" man can't turn around the jump shot, but it's rebounded back out. Cool, another jumper for him. This one is off the mark, but another offensive rebound. Pullman can't finish it off, but the Eagles collect once again with Dashel Spurrell. Spurrell back down to Cool once again. Back out to Hansen, top of the key as the Eagles reset. Now to Spurrell. Spurrell to Cool. Cool, who averages just 6 points off the bench. To Libby. Libby trying to get some space. Driving in, back out. Cool will shoot the three. This one is off the mark, but it's going to be rebounded finally by the Vermillion Tanagers. That first possession lasted over a minute for the Eagles. They come away, though, with no points. Carter Mart has it. Free throw line extended. Now to Sorensen, spin the lane, using the left hand, gets by the sophomore Cool, and Nick Sorensen has his first points of the night. He was really shut down in that first quarter. Vermillion back up to a 2-point lead. By the way, the Tanagers right now shooting 5 of 13 from the field for 38%. Hansen dribbling between the legs, now works it over to his teammate Spurrell. Spurrell back to the top with Hansen. Hansen at the free throw line. Picks up his dribble. Back out to Cool. Cool will shoot the three. This one is off the mark. Rebounded by Sorensen. Vermillion trying to add now onto this lead. They've never led it by more than 4 in the ball game. Carter Mart to Charlie Ward. Charlie Ward has his space cut off. Has to dribble all the way back to the corner. Now calling for help. 15 seconds of the shot clock to TJ Tracy. His floater is off the mark. Shots that would usually fall for Vermillion, they have not been able to hit. It's Libby quickly the opposite way. Now picks up his dribble to Spurrell. All the way back to the top to Hansen. Again, a three-pointer would give the first lead for the Eagles. They have not had it yet. And now a foul called on the movement before the pass. It will go against Jake Cool, picking up his first personal in the 5th team foul. By the way, Cool does not spell his last name like C-O-O-L, if you're wondering. 12-10, 5:30 remaining in this first half. Charlie Ward will slowly bring it across the timeline. Now TJ Tracy. Tanagers have all starting 5 out there right now. Jake Jensen. Jensen kicks it over to Carter Mart. Mart fumbled it for a moment, gets it back over to Charlie Ward. Three-pointer for him. This one is off the mark. Rebounded by Hansen. Hansen, just the 5'6" freshman guard, playing some big minutes right now for the Eagles. Now they get it down to Mason. Mason dribbles it back out with no space to work. Hansen pump fakes his three-pointer. To Pullman. To Libby inside the lane. Off-balance shot is off the mark. for Mason Johnson, then goes out of bounds. Last touch by the Eagles. Again, really no rhythm yet, as we're almost halfway through this second quarter. We have seen a total of 2 points. Yeah, that has not been good. Vermillion leads at 12-10. Charlie Ward over to Jake Jensen to Carter Mart. As in front of the Eagle bench. Trying to make a pass. It's deflected. Charlie Ward gets it back, though. Drives in. Shot blocked away by Jake Kuhl, but it goes to the arms of TJ Tracy. His shot is off the mark, going back up with it. There's Mart, and he'll be fouled. The foul comes against Jens Hansen, picking up his second personal, the 16th foul, and shooting free throws will be Carter Mart. 12-10, 4:21 second quarter. As we mentioned, only 2 points so far in this second quarter. First free throw is good for Carter Mart, giving in his first point of the evening. And with that, now all Tanagers have scored. Jake Jensen leads the way with 7 points, so more than half the points from the Vermillion Tanagers this evening. 13-10, second free throw. This one is good as well for Carter Mart. 4-point lead for the Tanagers. Again, the Tanagers have never had bigger than a 4-point lead. Kuhl has his pocket pick. Jake Jensen quickly the opposite way, down to low block, gets Kuhl in the air, can't get the foul, punches it back out like a goalkeeper in soccer. Reset the offense as the Tanagers have it at the free throw line. Jumper, TJ Tracy, his shot is off the mark, gets back his own rebound, another block shot by Jake Kuhl. TJ Tracy has not been able to find his rhythm tonight. Now controlled with Johnson. Near side, the top with Libby. Libby trying to back his way in, and a foul called. Cutting off the space there was TJ Tracy, but draws the foul. Tracy will pick up his first personal and the third team foul, and 2 free throws upcoming for Connor Libby. 14-10, 3:42 second quarter. Don't forget, coming up on the Vermillion Booster halftime show, we'll sit down with head coach John Brooks and talk about a big victory for his squad. First free throw is good for Connor Libby, including grabbing that number 2 spot inside the region playoffs. How important that can be. Of course, Vermillion girls, they'll have to win their first game in the regions, as last year they were upset here in the birdcage by the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. Libby hits both free throws. It's the first points for the Irene-Wakonda Eagles, who still trail by 2. Again, Vermillion's never had bigger than a 4-point lead. 3-pointer for Robinson. This one is off the mark, and Nick Sorensen is going to draw the foul as he goes over the back of Dashel Spurrell. Or no, they're going to call the foul instead on Spurrell. Spurrell picks up his first, the 17th foul. Should be a 1-on-1 upcoming. Mason Johnson trying to explain something. I don't know what he's trying to explain. The foul wasn't even on him. And again, really shouldn't try to give your opinion to the refs. It's never going to work out. First free throw for Sorensen. I don't think, nope, it didn't even hit the rim. The Eagles let him know that that's an air ball. So Vermillion struggles tonight's scoring continue. 2-point lead. Somehow, a pass to Jake Kuhl. Now up to Johnson. To Libby. Libby drives in the lane, able to finish it off with his left hand. Connor Libby 4 points in this second quarter. In fact, all the points for Irene-Wakonda, and we're tied once again. Top of the key, straightaway 3, gets it. Charlie Ward, he needed points there. He's got 5 for the ball game, and now a timeout called from head coach Jay Drake, which is kind of surprising. 6 of 21 from the field for Vermillion, 6 of 18 for the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. Again, we talk about poor shooting. It certainly has been that tonight. Big thanks to our sportscasting sponsors for bringing tonight's action and all season long. Again, couldn't do it without them, including Pump and Pack in Vermillion, Carlson's Body Shop, Hy-Vee Vermillion, Slumberland, AMS Building Systems, the Vermillion Medical Clinic, Blaine's Body Shop, the Brady Companies, Peterson Machine, Dave's Roofing, Vermillion Federal Credit Union. We talk about all these businesses, and there's a reason why on Vermillion Streaming and ESPN Radio that we're able to travel to each and every game, bringing you those play-by-play. Can't do it without our sponsors. So, again, when you see those commercials, you hear from our sponsors, give them a big thank you. And we're one of the few teams in all of the state of South Dakota that is able to follow our teams home and away, always bringing you that video and radio services. Back into action here. Vermillion with a 3-point lead. Reverse layup. Good for Mason Johnson. His first 2 points of the evening. It's back to just a 1-point lead for the Tanagers, 17-16. Charlie Ward drives baseline, loses it, and it's picked up by the Eagles. Quickly the opposite way. Johnson to Libby. Libby off the glass. And it's the first lead for the Irene-Wakonda Eagles, 18-17, 2:23 second quarter. Charlie Ward has it for his squad. Down to Sorensen. Sorensen over to Robinson. Robinson back to Sorensen in the lane. He's double teamed. Splits by it. Can't finish off his shot. A fight for the rebound and jump ball called. Possession arrow favors the way of the Tanagers, and a good effort there by Robinson to keep it for Vermillion. 18-17, 2:08 second quarter. Again, a 1-point lead for the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. Inbound to Jake Jensen, tries to make a pass. It's deflected, and a turnover. Opposite way, Johnson has it, drives in the lane, puts up the underhand shot, gets it to go. Mason Johnson, all 4 of his points in this second quarter. It's the biggest lead for the Eagles, 20-17. Charlie Ward over to zone Robinson. Robinson back to the top with Charlie Ward. Now over to Robinson once again. Jake Jensen. Jake Jensen on the drive. Floater, gets it. Jake Jensen, his first points of the second quarter, now has 9 for the ball game. 20-19, under 90 seconds remaining first half. Libby gets a pass, falling to the ground, makes a great effort. Garrett Libby from the ground, pass back out. But that on SportsCenter top 10 for just the effort. Nonetheless, the Eagles turn it over. Quickly opposite way, it's Robinson as he drives in. Foul called as he goes up with his shot. He'll shoot 2. It's the 8th team foul on the Eagles. The foul called against Sporrell, picking up his second personal. So again, 2 free throws for zone Robinson. A chance for the Tanagers to take back the lead, even have a chance at tying it up. That'd be if Robinson goes 1 of 2. First free throw, gets it. First points off the bench for the Vermillion Tanagers belong to zone Robinson. Carter Mart checks back in. Charlie Ward checks out. Also, Dashel Sporrell is out of the ball game. And checking back in is Pullman. Second free throw. This one is good for Robinson. The Tanagers have back their lead as they're on a modest 4-0 run. They lead it 21-20. 60 seconds remaining in this first half. It's Mason Johnson. Handed off to Libby. Or excuse me, handed off to Garrett Libby, that is. Brother to brother. Now Johnson. Back to Garrett. Over to Cool. Cool makes a pass over the far side. It's Johnson. Trying to get it back out to Cool. Deflected in the air. Coming away with it is Jensen. Jensen trying to drive in, and he has it tied up as he's going up for a shot. Possession arrow for the Eagles. 21-20, 35.5 remaining in this second quarter. So the Eagles, if they want to, can hold on for the last second shot, and that's what Coach Lee is calling out for. Hold on to it, see if the Eagles can't take a lead. It's Johnson back to the top with Libby. Now Johnson, Pullman back out to Libby. Libby at the elbow has his pocket pick. Jake Jensen is going to pump the brakes as he brings it across the timeline. 10 seconds and rolling. Vermillion holding on to a 1-point lead, 21-20. It's Jensen, drives in, has his shot blocked away by Jake Cool. Ball's being knocked around, and in the end, that is the end of the first half. Irene-Wakonda has certainly made it interesting in Class B, taking on Class A Vermillion. And again, the Tanagers holding on to a 1-point lead as we head to the Vermillion Booster halftime show. Again, the score 21 for the Tanagers, Irene-Wakonda 20. We're stepping aside for 2 minutes, and when we come back, it's the Vermillion Booster halftime show. We'll see if we can't catch up with head coach John Brooks and talk about a team and a win, 66-43. That's on the way here in 2 minutes on ESPN Radio. And
your invitation to thrive in Yankton, South Dakota. Nestled on the bluffs of the Missouri River, plenty of outdoor adventures are waiting. Whether you work remote or in a traditional office, we have a spot for you. Quality healthcare, diverse manufacturing, progressive school system, Mount Marty University, and so much more. Explore with family and friends. Let's thrive together.
Clay County Abstract and Title Company has a complex job that boils down to something very simple, helping you purchase your dream with confidence. When investing in a new home, a new site for your business, or piece of property, you want peace of mind that the property is truly yours. Clay County Abstract and Title Company has been doing just that since 1946. Clay County Abstract and Title Company, proud supporters of Vermillion activities and proud to be a part of your dreams come true.
Olson, owner of Blaine's Body Shop in Vermillion. I grew up here, graduated here, and now have a business here. I'm proud to serve the community that has helped me live this dream. I have top-notch equipment, the latest in training, along with a work ethic and the desire to serve you. Should you need repairs in the future, please remember Blaine's Body Shop across from Polaris on the Highway 50 bypass in Vermillion.
Blaine's Body Shop. Automotive collision repair.
Now online at blainesbodyshop.com.
At Knutson Family Dentistry in Vermillion, they strive to provide the highest quality patient-centered dental care in a friendly, relaxing atmosphere. Knutson Family Dentistry works hard to provide the best cosmetic, general, and emergency dental treatment in the area. With over 50 years of combined dental experience, the latest dental technology, and a professional and compassionate staff, they're your top choice for dental care. Call for an appointment at 605-857-8008. Knutson Family Dentistry of Vermillion.
And Outdoor Store, Vermillion.
right now at halftime, the Vermillion boys are holding on to a 1-point lead from a Class B Irene-Wakonda Eagles. 21-20 right now is that halftime score. We'll get to our first half statistics here in just a moment, but right now joined with head coach John Brooks and talking about his squad's victory of 66-43. I feel like there's a lot of good things to talk about, but there was also some kind of iffy moments in that game, especially in the rebounding category. I mean, you had 7 different girls with rebounds for the Irene-Wakonda Eagles leading the way. What was it that you just were not able to rebound defensively and giving so many different opportunities for the Eagles to really stay in this game tonight?
Yeah, you know, I think it's a lot of it is just when you extend your defense to full court like we did for most of the night, you're scrambling quite a bit. We're trying to create turnovers. We're trying to get the tempo going because we knew Irene kind of didn't play really anybody off the bench. So all those combinations of things, and then trying to rebound on the zone is obviously tough at times. You know, a lot of times we like to play that zone in spurts. We like our man-to-man defense, but we were getting runouts early in the game, and I think that getting the tempo of the game going on early was in our advantage, so we just stuck with it.
And going off that, you did have great moments on defense as well. Really shut down Nora O'Malley. We know how talented she is. How great was that to see from your squad, not really letting her get going for tonight?
Yeah, I didn't look at the official stats, but I think somebody said she ended up with 5, and you hold her to 5, and then you're going to put yourself in a really good chance to win the basketball game. She got loose in the corners twice. I know she hit a corner 3 and about a corner 15-footer, but besides that, we did a really good job on her. I thought our girls with our length did a really good job of getting a lot of tips. We got a ton of deflections in our defense, which was good.
You hit a lot of threes as well, including Casey Hansen and Brooke Jensen, able to really knock them down. How great was that to see and just kind of have their rhythm come back after these past couple of games where they have struggled?
Yeah, we knew we were going to see a lot of zone, and Irene kind of packs their zone, and they force you to shoot it from the outside. And before the game, we told our girls out there we're going to have a lot of comfortable threes. They're not going to have to be rushed. they're not going to be running at you. You just got to get your feet set, and you're going to have space to shoot them. So step up and knock them down with confidence. And seeing those two kids shoot the ball well was nice.
A lot of high seed points going into this game as well. If you could find that win, it's all basically locked up now, that number 2 spot inside Region 4 when it comes to playoffs. Now, we go back to last year, we talk about a good chance of C&T area, but you were upset in that first round last year. How nice, though, is it to be playing at home and making sure you do take care of business in the first and second round, trying to get to the SODAC 16?
Yeah, it's really nice to be at home. There's no doubt about it. That's a big emphasis playing the regular season is we want to, when tournament time comes around, we want to be on our home floor, and our girls have done a really nice job, and hopefully I've locked that up. I'd have to go crunch the numbers to make sure, but either way, we want to win next Friday, have momentum going in, and then we know we have at least locked up that first round home game.
It was the Los Angeles Rams that beat your San Francisco 49ers to make it to the Super Bowl, so do you like the Rams in that matchup, or are you cheering the Cincinnati Bengals?
I'm going with the Bengals, given seeing a team that hasn't been there, and I remember how many years I said, and I'm kind of on the Joe Burrow bandwagon right now, so I'm going to go with going for the Bengals.
You got a big party planned at all?
I don't know. That stuff's. I usually find out the day of when my wife tells me what we're doing in the morning when we wake up in the morning. So I'll see what she tells me.
Well, hey, enjoy yourself for the Super Bowl. Enjoy your Valentine's Day as well. We'll see you in a week's time. All right.
All right. Thanks, Steve.
There he is, head coach John Brooks here on the Vermillion Booster halftime show. Again, right now at halftime, the Vermillion boys lead it by 1 over the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. While we have a quick chance, let's take a look at the scoring. Jake Jensen leads the boys in scoring with 9 points. There was 5 points from Charlie Ward, 2 apiece for Zone Robinson, Nick Sorensen, and Carter Mart. TJ Tracy has hit a free throw for his only point of the night. 6 points apiece for Miles Pullman and Connor Libby, and also 4 points apiece for Mason Johnson and also Dashel Sporrell for the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. Again, Vermillion leads it by 1 as we head to the second half. We're going to step aside for 2 minutes, and when we come back, we'll have the second half. That's on the way next on ES.
Vermillion is ready with all your Tanager gear. Check out their Tanager Pride and Tanager logo t-shirts. Thread and Ink has USD Coyote gear too. They custom print apparel, do built-to-order laser engraving, embroidery, promotional items, signage, and much more. Thread and Ink Vermillion is locally owned, and customers give them 5 stars on their Facebook page, so you know you can trust Thread and Ink to fill your order with the perfection you deserve. Good luck from Thread and Ink Vermillion.
Masaba of Vermillion, South Dakota is now hiring for full and part-time positions with day and evening shifts available. Masaba provides comprehensive training in a state-of-the-art facility with a clean and safe work environment. We offer competitive starting wages and an interesting and fun work culture. If you are self-motivated, accountable, and eager to learn new skills, we would love to have you on our team. For more information, visit masabainc.com/careers.
Wouldn't it be convenient if everything worked with your busy life? At the Vermillion Medical Clinic, they understand that accidents don't come at the right time. That's why the Vermillion Medical Clinic has extended their clinic hours from 8 to 6, Monday through Friday. Appointments are needed and walk-ins will not be accepted. The Vermillion Medical Clinic now with extended hours to help you ease the needs in your life.
Peterson Machine in Beersford is your full-service quality John Deere dealer. From the latest John Deere combines and tractors to lawn equipment you can count on, Peterson Machine in Beersford will bring you the best value for your dollar, along with professional service and parts to keep you going. Check out the big selection of used equipment as well. Need a hard-working farm hand? Peterson Machine also carries a full line of Polaris ATVs and UTVs ready for the toughest jobs. No matter what the job, Polaris keeps you going. Check the full inventory at petersonmachine.com.
That has been the Vermillion Booster halftime show. Vermillion right now, as we get set for the second half, leads it by 1 over the Irene-Wakonda Eagles. A score 21-20, which for the Vermillion fans is not a good look as of right now. Again, trying to take a bounce back after one of the worst losses in years against Dakota Valley on Tuesday, who is in action as well, the Panthers, taking on Del Rapids. In fact, we have that game pulled up right now. I'm watching that one here on our TV screens inside the Bird Nest. I'm Heath Nimke. So we're set and ready to go for the second half. Vermillion will come back out in their starting five. Charlie Ward, Jake Jensen, Carter Mart, TJ Tracy, and Nick Sorensen. Starting five back out there as well for the Irene-Wakonda Eagles: Connor Libby, Dashel Sprell, Miles Pullman, Mason Johnson, and Garrett Libby. Vermillion will begin with the basketball. Quick shot from Nick Sorensen will go through. Nick Sorensen now has 4 points in the ball game. You have to wonder what that conversation was from Jay Drake at halftime. I can tell you at least this much. It was extremely heated, knowing what kind of coach Jay Drake is. Dashel Sprell has it over in the far corner, still keeping his dribble alive. Works it back out to Miles Pullman, to Libby. Libby to Johnson. 10 seconds on the shot clock. Resetting. Dashel Sprell has it, trying to get free. 5 seconds. The Eagles have to go with Libby. 2 seconds. Driving in, puts up a shot. It's off the mark, left of the iron. Rebound by the Tangers. Quickly opposite way. It's controlled with Charlie Ward. Charlie Ward driving in, puts up his floater. He is fouled and will head to the free throw line to shoot two. And you can already tell there seems to be that spark that Vermillion was missing in that first half. And 2 free throws upcoming for Charlie Ward. The foul is called against Miles Pullman, picking up his first personal. First free throw is good for Charlie Ward. He now has 6 points in the ball game. So Vermillion quickly starting off on a 3-0 run. Second free throw, this one is short, off the mark. Rebounded by the Eagles and Garrett Libby. In the backcourt, finally up in the front. Eagles now with Libby. To the top with Johnson, who's directing offense with his left hand, has Charlie Ward right in front of his face. Makes the pass to Libby in the corner. The brothers passing around, top of the arc. Libby drives into the block, back out to Garrett. Garrett with 8 seconds, tries to force a pass underneath, bodies diving to the ground. Nick Sorensen almost comes away with it. 2 seconds and 1 if the Eagles would have picked it up, but Vermillion is able to do so by forcing the turnover. Charlie Ward back out, straightaway three. Jake Jensen. Vermillion has certainly found their spark coming out quickly. A 6-0 run. The press is on, trying to get it across the timeline. Johnson finally gets it up to Sprell. 27-20. In fact, it's now the biggest lead for the Tangers, and a timeout called by Coach Lee. Vermillion gets quickly to the right start. Again, right now, up here in the Bird Nest, have that game pulled up for Dakota Valley and Del Rapids. That one, a good matchup. Del Rapids, of course, the team that handed Vermillion a loss earlier this season in overtime. As that one's just underway. And that was also a doubleheader. That just shows you how much ahead of schedule the Vermillion Tanagers are tonight of everybody else around the state of South Dakota. And that comes because of no JV game, or excuse me, no C game tonight, with Irene-Wakonda being just a B school. Sometimes they're able to play C games and sometimes they don't. 27-20 after timeout from head coach Stephen Lee, trying to get his Eagles refocused. Again, they had battled tough, that have only had one lead in this game that came late in the second quarter at 18-17. Otherwise, Vermillion has been able just kind of hang on, it seems like. But again, now lead it by 7, their biggest lead of the ball game. They've opened up on that 6-0 run. Quickly get it down, shot off the mark for Garrett Libby. And those are the kind of shots that really the Eagles were hitting in that first half. Now back out to TJ Tracy as the Tangers set their offense. Charlie Ward to Jake Jensen, to Carter Mark. Cart dribbled behind his legs to Sorensen, back out. 3-ball for Jensen. Off the mark, it's tipped, and chasing it down is Sorensen. The big man will hand it off to Charlie Ward. Charlie Ward has his pocket picked by Connor Libby, up to Dashel Sprell. Sprell spits by Jensen. Misses his shot but gets it back. 3-pointer now for Sprell in the corner. This one is off the mark. The Eagles now 0 of 5 from the 3-point line. Jensen to Ward, back to Jake Jensen. Jensen drives to the free throw line to Carter Mart. He'll shoot the 3. This one is off the mark. ricocheted off the heel of the iron. Connor Libby picks up his dribble, works it to his brother, Garrett. Garrett has it in the far corner. Work it all the way back to the top to reset the offense. 18 seconds on the shot clock. Pull-up jumper for Libby. Hits off the side of the backboard. 27-20. Again, Vermillion still on a 6-0 run to start this third quarter. Shot is off the mark really bad for Ward, but TJ Tracy underneath the hoop to collect the missed shot that hit nothing. And TJ Tracy now has 3 points on the evening. 29-20. And now a pass from Garrett up to his brother Connor that goes way past anybody and out of bounds. And this is one thing for the Irene-Wakonda Eagles that will have the advantage over the Vermillion Tanagers is the conditioning. And you're really starting to see it now as the Eagles starting to show a little bit more of being gassed compared to these 5 seniors right now in the court for Vermillion. Sorensen back out to Carter Mart, right open 3, hits it. Carter Mart, 5 points for him, and Vermillion starting to open it up on an 11-0 run to start this third quarter. They now lead it by 12. Johnson, pass to the top, driving in, Spurrell. Back out to Johnson. Free throw line extended, trying to make his pass. Down to Cool. Goes beyond the reach of Cool, even though he's 6'9". Can't get it. Will go out of bounds. So the Eagles have yet to score. We're past the halfway mark of this third quarter. 32-20. 3:40. Charlie Ward has it. Getting a screen from TJ Tracy. Now TJ Tracy backs into him a little bit. Everyone's good. Carter Mart gets a no-look pass from Jake Jensen. Mart back to the top. The Tanager logo with Charlie Ward. Now we're to Tracy. To Sorensen in the lane. Sorensen trying to go up tough using his right hand, and able to get it to go. Nick Sorensen, 4 points in this third quarter, 6 for the ball game, 34-20, 3:09 third quarter. Cool in the lane, gets it. Jake Cool, his first 2 points of the evening. It's also the first points for the Irene-Wakonda Eagles of this second half. Straightaway 3 for Charlie Ward off the mark, and Cool gets the rebound as he's been quickly busy off the bench. Spurrell back to Cool. Cool can shoot the 3, play outside in pretty well too. Libby hands it off to Spurrell. Spurrell at the free throw line, jumper off balance and off the mark. It will go out of bounds, last touched by the Eagles. Quick look at 3:53 remaining in the first quarter. It's the Dakota Valley Panthers that lead it over the Del Rapids Couriers 7-2. Couple quick substitutions as Carter Mart will check out. Hanson will check in. TJ Tracy is also off. Zone Robinson has also checked on for the Tanagers. Free popcorn night here inside the Birdcage. If you haven't made it out to a game yet this season, certainly need to do so. Of course, with the regions coming up here in just a few weeks' time, Vermillion boys, as of right now, will have at least their first game here at home. With the Vermillion girls looking like they'll have 2 games here inside the Birdcage before the teams are on the road to finish out postseason play. Where at? Well, we don't know about that. Just have to win. First off, jumper for Jensen on the fadeaway. He was hit, and he will head to the free throw line to shoot 2. The foul comes against Spurrell, picking up now his 3rd personal and the 2nd team foul. Again, Vermillion, after holding on to a 1-point lead at halftime, even being tied at the end of the first quarter, right now lead it by 12, 34-22. Big reason in part because the Tanagers were able to go on a 14-0 run to open up this third quarter. Both free throws are off the mark for Jake Jensen. And with 2:10 remaining in the third quarter, their offense continues to struggle this evening. A tip pass, but Carter Hansen can't come up with the turnover, and the Irene-Wakonda Eagles able to hold on to it, and then a foul called. Or was it the shot clock reset when it was never supposed to? Yep. Or do they call a foul? Nope, they're saying it is shot clock reset when it wasn't supposed to. They want to set it back to 23, I believe is what they want to get it down to. So we wait for that to get corrected. Finally does so. 23 seconds remaining on the shot clock. The Eagles will inbound it. Sporrell will have it at the volleyball line. 34-22. Now under 2 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Cool. Pass over to Hansen. Free throw line extended for Hansen. Around the perimeter. Sporrell has it. Trying to get it into Charlie Ward. Jumper off balance, but connects. Dashel Sporrell, his first points since the first quarter. He has 6 for the ball game. 34-24. The Eagles certainly have not gone away. Robinson quickly opposite way. Three-pointer. No, they say he traveled before he shot it. The student section doesn't agree with the call. They show their displeasure. Student section, it's kind of been quiet so far tonight. Now, in the girls' game, they didn't have their normal spot, as a lot of parents were taking that spot to watch the elementary kids during the halftime performance with their dancing routine. Those kids have mainly since left. A few still sprinkled around on the far sidelines as we see it. Jumper off the mark for Pullman. 34-24, 103, third quarter. Ward picks up his dribble, passes it over to Robinson. Robinson to the near corner now with Hansen. Underneath the hoop, back out. Charlie Ward, three-pointer for him. Gets it. Charlie Ward. Now 9 points for him tonight. Vermillion back up to a 13-point lead. Hansen. Pass, drive in, Sporrell, and a charge taken. As Sporrell made the pass, bangs into Nick Sorensen. And Dashel Sporrell now picks up his fourth personal, the third team foul, and he'll have to come out of the ball game. Checking back in is Mason Johnson for Irene-Wakonda. Also, Jake Jensen comes out of the ball game. Coming in. No, I'm sorry. It looked like Jensen was coming out. He was just going over to talk to head coach Jay Drake, staying out there on the court. 3 seconds that separate the shot clock from the game clock. Vermillion is trying to hold on for the last second shot. Ward now makes his pass over to Robinson. Back to Charlie Ward. 10 seconds and rolling on that shot clock. Now 10 seconds remaining in this third quarter. Charlie Ward will drive down to the block. His off-balance shot off the mark, but it's an offensive rebound. Back up, Nick Sorensen. 6 points in this third quarter. Last second heap, half-court shot is just off the mark for Johnson, and that's the end of quarter number 3. After Vermillion was holding on to a 1-point lead at halftime, they've certainly opened it up and now lead it by 15, with the Eagles only scoring 4 in that third quarter. Well, stepping aside, we're back in 60 seconds here on ES.
Most new systems today, it's important to remember to maintain the warranty. You need to show proof of service. Things that you can expect from Larry's Heating and Cooling Comfort Care Club are prompt, timely service, 2 maintenances, and respect. If you ever have an issue, from Lennox to Carrier and everything in between, we're there for you. For any inquiries about our pricing, feel free to call us at 1-800-491-9461. Anytime, any day.
We're a little bit different here at Vermillion Federal Credit Union. See, unlike banks, we're a member-owned not-for-profit institution, meaning members like you are the owners, and the profits are returned through better fees and lower rates.
Hey you, down in front!
And since our members are our owners, we exist to serve you and make sure that you're as comfortable as possible here. So come on in and act like you own the place, because you do.
Open your free checking account today. Vermillion Federal Credit Union.
As we begin this fourth quarter inside the Birdcage, the Vermillion Tanagers able to have an 18-4 third quarter and now lead it over the Irene-Wakonda Eagles by 15 as we are underway in this fourth quarter. An opening possession missed for the Eagles as they're not able to finish at the rim. Tanagers just trying to finish this one off. Three-pointer for Charlie Ward. He's able to hit. Charlie Ward with that now 12 points in the ball game. The leading scorer for the Tanagers as well. 42-24, pass tipped by TJ Tracy. will go out of bounds. Tracy thought it was last touch by Johnson. So did Jake Jensen. Well, at the end of quarter number 1, it's all Dakota Valley over Del Rapids. The score right now 20-5 in that one. Again, we talk about how good that Dakota Valley team is. We'll get you more score updates from around the state of South Dakota. Also, more importantly, T-Area and Lennox in action tonight inside the Region 4 and DAC 12. Three-pointer off the mark for Hanson will go out of bounds. We'll see if we can't hunt down that score. There's a lot of good games going on this Friday evening. And right now in the Birdcage, Vermillion Tanagers lead it by 18, their biggest lead of the ball game. Also, in other action, just in boys night, West Central is beating Madison 62-46. Now, Madison is coming to Vermillion on Monday for a Valentine's Day game. So if you don't have any special plans for Valentine's Day, how about you spend it with me, as I'll be spending it with you. Hanson has it for the Eagles. Far wing. Back to Libby. Libby's space is cut off by Carter Mart. They'll work it back out. Also, Lennox leads it over T-Area 33-20 with 2 minutes remaining in that second quarter. So that's a look at that Region 4 and DAC 12 matchup right now. Hanson with 3 seconds, spin up, and his shot is off the mark after he spun away from Charlie Ward, and then a fight for the rebound underneath. Tied up, and it will be White basketball. 42-24, 6-10 fourth quarter. Again, Vermillion just trying to finish this one off and get out of the Birdcage with a victory before they're again back here on Monday. Back in action, the boys as well, just in a single game on Tuesday as they travel to Wagner. And now, a foul called away from the ball. As TJ Tracy had in the front court. It's the fourth team foul on the Eagles. And the third team foul on Mason Johnson. Vermillion has yet to commit a foul in this second half. That's how clean they have played. Sorensen over to Carter Mart. Mart to TJ Tracy. Tracy makes his move back to Charlie Ward. Ward wasn't quite ready for it. Ward, though, off-balance shot, puts it up. Doesn't get the go, but a foul against Hanson. And Hanson will pick up his third personal, the fifth team foul. Charlie Ward shooting 2 free throws. 42-24, 5:39 fourth quarter. Again, it was 21-20 at halftime. Irene-Wakonda has only scored 4 points here in this second half. Second free throw, this one is good as well from Charlie Ward. And now with that, 14 points for him in the ball game. Up to a 20-point lead, the biggest lead the Tanagers have had against the Eagles. Hanson to Libby. Libby holds it above his head, makes the pass to Johnson. The runner off the glass, can't get the go, and a fight for the rebound between Tracy and Kuhl. Tied up, and it will be Eagle basketball holding on to it. 5:22, fourth quarter. Going to inbound it will be Johnson. Johnson gets it deep out to Pullman. Pullman will hand it off to Hanson. Get a fresh shot clock for the Eagles. Johnson trying to get down to Kuhl once again, and it will not be on the same page. Johnson and Kuhl out of bounds. Kuhl wants it up in the air. Of course, why not when you're that tall, 6'9". 44-24. 20-point lead for the Tanagers. Pull-up jumper for Jensen. This one is off the mark, but rebounded by Sorensen. Offensively, Sorensen goes back up with it. He can't finish it off. And then a foul on the rebound will go against Jake Kuhl. Picking up his second. The sixth team foul will also be a shooting foul, so Nick Sorensen will shoot 2. He airballed one earlier tonight. This one is left off the front of the iron. Luckily right now, the Tanagers don't need their free throws. Jay Drake is talking to the near official. Jake Jensen now going to go over and talk to head coach Jay Drake. Sorensen, by the way, hits that free throw. He now has 9 points in the ball game. 45-24, 4:48 fourth quarter. Libby back out to Hansen. Hansen wants to hand it off to Johnson. He can't do so. We'll finally have to make the look pass to Libby, and a foul called against TJ Tracy away from the ball. Is now the first foul called on Vermillion in this second half. It's also the second team foul on TJ Tracy. In fact, a total of 4 fouls have been called against Vermillion, 2 on Charlie Ward and 2 on TJ Tracy. That's how clean the Tanagers have been tonight. Hansen trying to get down to Pullman. He wasn't ready for the pass. He lost it with his right hand. Picked up by Jake Jensen. Jensen down to the low block. Goes up with a shot, but it's blocked away by Kuhl. And they say never reestablishing himself inbounds was Johnson. He was out of bounds, and when he came in, he caught it in the air. But again, has to reestablish himself inbounds before he could have touched that. So he's technically called out of bounds. Vermillion has it. In with Sorensen. His shot with the right hook is off the mark, but he's fouled once again. Again by Jake Kuhl, picking up his third, 7th team foul. And to the free throw line will be Nick Sorensen. Sorensen will be shooting 2. 45-24, 4:17 fourth quarter. First free throw is off the mark for Sorensen. Does feel good to be back here in the birdcage and also be back in the birdcage for quite some time. It's been a little bit of a time since we've been here. Seems like, at least for me, again, constantly on the road, following both the boys and the girls, and with that DAC-12 NEC clash at the end of January, 1st of February, certainly makes for some long road trips on a Saturday. Kuhl has it, right hand, able to finish it off. Jake Kuhl, all 4 points for him in this second half. 45-26. Again, the Eagles have just scored their first points of this fourth quarter, and we're past the halfway mark of the fourth. Ward trying to go up. He was tied up the entire time by Connor Libby. So 2 free throws upcoming for Charlie Ward. You wonder how soon head coach Jay Drake will start to dip into his bench, as in fact Robinson is ready to come on at the next dead ball, and will now come on also. Dashel Sporrell is back on. Carter Mart will come out of the basketball game. 46-26. Charlie Ward continues to have himself a good game, makes both free throws, and now giving him 16 points on the evening. 47-26, 3:43, fourth quarter. Kuhl to Libby. Connor drives down to the low block, picks up his dribble, tries to pass it back out, takes deflection on its way. Sporrell, though, collects. Sporrell, baseline drive, puts up the off-balance shot, but can't get to go. Sorensen comes up with another board. Don't forget, coming up on the First Dakota National Bank post-game show, we'll sit down with head coach Jay Drake, talk about a tough first half, but a good victory for his squad, and now getting ready for another Valentine's Day. And a quick foul as Sorensen tried to go up with his shot. And another Valentine's Day that I get to spend with head coach Jay Drake. Be now my 3rd year in a row that Jay Drake and I have spent Valentine's Day together. I think that might be the longest active streak of my life, was spending my Valentine's Day with one person. Hey, it just works out for Jay Drake and I. First free throw is off the mark for Sorensen. He'll have a second opportunity. Might just get him a card. That's also a DAC-12 matchup against the Madison Bulldogs. It will also finish out Vermillion's play inside the DAC-12. Sorensen gets the second free throw. With that, he now hits double figures on the night with 10 points. A pass can be stolen away by Jake Jensen. His shot is deflected from behind and out of bounds. Johnson, he can't believe it, but does get an explanation from the ref. He says, okay, sounds good. And now Sorensen, frustration as he comes out. Also, TJ Tracy comes out. Tracy had a quiet night this evening. 48-26. Another foul called against the Eagles, as this one has really started to slow down here. 48-26. 22-point lead. 2 free throws upcoming for Jake Jensen as we have now hit double bonus. First free throw, this one is good for Jake. And now coming into the basketball game, be Jacob Leary, the 6'3" senior center. Also, Charlie Ward will check out of the ball game. He'll finish with 16 points this evening as Ty Hertz makes his way in. As head coach Jay Drake will start to empty out his bench. Free throw is off the mark, but Connor Skogsberg gets the offensive rebound, goes back up with it, and gets his first 2 points. 51-26. Vermillion just trying to put a bow on this one tonight. It's down to Jacob, the big man in the lane. Gets his shot against Ty Hertz. 51-28 33. Fourth quarter. Hansen, three-pointer, gets it. And now we're just starting to see points come as a little bit of the JV versus some of the starters, some of the JV out there for the Eagles. Johnson has it in the near corner. Back to the top, they work it. Sporell, straight away three. This one is off the mark, puts a rebound for Jacob. He goes back up with it, spinning around, and he is fouled. The big man inside might as well work it to him. He can certainly dominate with his size in the lane. 54-28, 2:14, fourth quarter. Jake Jensen about to come out. First free throw is good for Jacob Leary. He now has 3 points. Connor Rohrig is in. So that was the final starter to check out as Vermillion now playing with all bench players. Good performance, good bounce-back game for Vermillion, even though it did not look good in that first half. We'll certainly ask head coach Jay Drake on our post-game interview what he said at halftime. I know he can't give us all the details, but certainly was a motivational rah-rah speech as Vermillion was able to really come out nicely in the second half. Three-pointer from Robinson. He's able to hit 58-30. 28-point lead now for the Vermillion Tanagers. Get a busy upcoming stretch for the Vermillion boys. Game Monday, Tuesday, and Friday of next week. In fact, our next true doubleheader will be on Friday as the Parker Pheasants come to the Birdcage. A three-pointer, this one misses everything from Borderson. And now, a couple more Tanagers will check on. As coming on will be Ethan Kerner and also Wyatt Gestring checking into the ball game. So all Tanagers have played tonight except for Cole Tweeton. We'll see if he doesn't come on here in just a moment. 57-30, 1:37, fourth quarter. Ty Hertz gets it over to Ethan. Ethan dribbling between the legs to Connor Rohrig. Rohrig pass to Skogsberg. He lost it. Skogsberg back out. Ball is loose. Going to be picked up by the Eagles. Quickly opposite way. It's up to Hansen. Spin the lane. Jumper for Hansen's off the mark. Rebounded by Ty Hertz. Hertz will bring it across the timeline. Ty makes his move. Stops. Pass over to Wyatt Gestring. Connects on the three. Wyatt Gestring, who has battled a knee injury this season. In fact, going into next week, he will have surgery on that knee, so we'll take him out. So good to see Wyatt hit a three-pointer in varsity action. Hansen back out with 45 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. The Eagles moved it around the perimeter. Back to the top now with Hansen. Over to that far side, it's Sam Hansen driving in and contact made on the move. It is also a 30-point lead, so we are currently seeing a running clock. And when we do see fouls, it runs for 5 seconds and then stops. That's how that works, by the way. Feel confused. Sam Hansen will shoot 2 free throws. Vermillion, nonetheless, is going to get a win, improve to 10-6 overall. First free throw is good for Sam Hansen, whereas the Irene-Wakonda Eagle boys will drop to 11-6. Again, coming up on the First Dakota National Bank post-game show, we'll sit down with head coach Jay Drake, take a look at our final game statistics, have our Latte Da player of the game, and also scores from around the state of South Dakota. Second free throw is off the mark for Hansen. Ty Hertz will bring it across the timeline, and he'll just dribble this one out as the Vermillion boys will get a 29-point victory over the Irene-Wakonda Eagles, and also a sweep tonight here inside the birdcage. As Hertz will hold on to it, hand it off to the official as the buzzer goes off. 2 good wins for the Vermillion girls and the Vermillion boys as we head into the Super Bowl break and Valentine's Day on Monday with a single game coming up. But again, Vermillion and boys action gets the victory over the Irene-Wakonda Eagles by that final score of 60-31. We'll step aside for 3 minutes, and when we come back on the First Dakota National Bank post-game show, scores from the state of South Dakota, our final game statistics, and head coach Jay Drake all on the way here on ESPN Radio.
Save means you're sort of protecting yourself. My mom and dad told me how to be safe. It's like super duper important. Hold a grown-up's hands. Put a helmet on because you might hurt your head super duper bad.
Protect their future by protecting yours with your local State Farm agent, Dick Sunday.
Need a new set of tires? Look to Carlson's Body Shop in Beersford. How about some accessories like WeatherTech floor mats, access roll-up truck covers, bed liners, remote car starters, and thousands of other products. Hey, you can look at everything at your convenience online too at carlsonsbodyshop.com. No wonder the song says,
Bring it down to Carlson's Body Shop, your complete car care center.
Find your primary care physician or provider at StanfordHealth.org today.
There's only one locally owned store in Yankton that you should purchase your next mattress from. It's Slumberland Furniture, with trained sleep experts helping you select from over 40.
Whether you're in the market to purchase a new home, or your family is growing and you need to sell your existing home, or you're a student moving to an apartment, Dakota Realty and Property Management has home listings for families as well as apartments. Being locally owned and with over 150 years of combined experience, they have the connections to find the home that will fit you. Go to Dakota Realty and Property Management at 125 East Cherry Street, Vermillion, because they like what they do and they will work for you. Dakota Realty is a proud supporter of Vermillion Athletics.
Vermillion Medical Clinic is your trusted hometown healthcare provider. Family medicine, 10 visiting specialists, Vermillion's only pediatrician, and expanded convenient care hours. Because illness and injury don't keep office hours. Vermillion Medical Clinic. So much care, so close to home.
You couldn't always play 9 holes while
Machine in Beersford is your full-service quality John Deere dealer. From the latest John Deere combines and tractors to lawn equipment you can count on, Peterson Machine in Beersford will bring you the best value for your dollar, along with professional service and parts to keep you going. Check out the big selection of used equipment as well. Need a hard-working farm hand? Peterson Machine also carries a full line of Polaris ATVs and UTVs ready for the toughest jobs. No matter what the job, Polaris keeps you going. Check the full inventory at petersonmachine.com.
Midwest Ready Mix and Equipment is your locally owned and operated ready mix company. Their specialty, 6x6 front discharge mixer trucks that allows for better placement of concrete and ease of use. Midwest Ready Mix and Equipment offers the highest quality of concrete products and aggregates, and also a full-service dealer for low-gun equipment featuring telehandlers, excavators, and ASB track skid loaders for purchase or rent. Midwest Ready Mix and Equipment, East Highway 50, Vermillion.
It's the First Dakota National Bank post-game show on ESPN 1015 AM 1570 KVTK.com, along with the Vermillion streaming as your final number to walk away from this one, 39-11. Now, that wasn't necessarily the final score, but that's what Vermillion did to Irene-Wakonda in that second half. They outscored the Eagles 39-11. After halftime, Vermillion was holding on to non-convincing 1-point lead, 21-20. And the scoring that existed for the Eagles quickly dissipated. In fact, nobody for the Eagles hit double figures on the evening, including 3 that finished in with 6 points. Otherwise, that was kind of it for the Eagles. Again, it was 10-10 after quarter number 1. Vermillion outscored the Eagles in that second quarter just by 1 to make it 21-20. But again, an 18-4 third quarter and a 21-7 fourth quarter is what got Vermillion that 29-point victory in boys action. Again, the final score 60-31. As we take a look at our final game numbers for the Irene-Wakonda Eagles, we talk about 6 guys that hit 6 points, including Connor Libby, Dashel Sporrell, and also Miles Pullman. Otherwise, 4 points apiece for Mason Johnson and also Jacob Leering coming in playing a little bit of extra time. Also, Jake Kuhl finished with 4 points in the night, and Sam Hansen hit a free throw right before the end of this ball game. For the Vermillion Tanagers, they put up 3 in double figures. Leading the way was Charlie Ward. He finished with 16 points on the night. Jake Jensen finished with 13 points. And Nick Sorensen, the other one to hit double figures for tonight, he finished with 10 points. In fact, Nick Sorensen fell just 1 rebound short of hitting a double-double for tonight. Otherwise, and other scores, Carter Mart finished with 5 points, along with Zone Robinson. 3 points apiece for Wyatt Gestring, Carter Hansen, and also the other starter, TJ Tracy. And 2 points tonight for Cotter Skogsberg to wrap up the scoring for the Vermillion Tanagers, as they had 9 different players that were able to score. When it comes to the foul game numbers as well, Vermillion shot 19 of 46 from the field for 41%, compared to 13 of 40 for 33% for the field for the Eagles. From beyond the three-point line, the Eagles were 0 of 6. They didn't shoot a lot, and they were not able to connect with any, whereas the Vermillion Tanagers went 9 of 17 for 53% from the three-point line. And also from the free throw line, it was not good. Once again tonight for the Vermillion Tanagers, they went 13 of 23, whereas the Eagles, not often, but they did hit when they made it there. 5 of 6 on those final game numbers. When it comes to our Latte Da player of the game, we'll give it to the man who got close to double-double tonight. He did a lot of great work defensively for rebounds, and also, again, we talk about just 1 rebound short of hitting a double-double. Tonight's Latte Da player for the boys game belongs to Nick Sorensen of the Vermillion Tanagers. This is the First Dakota National Bank post-game show. Choose a local bank who supports your dreams. First Dakota National Bank offers you personal, business, or ag banking services. They know you, your family, and your dreams are the heart of your financial choices. Let's dream together. Make it First Dakota National Bank. Well, we still have a look at our scores from around the state of South Dakota, and also a conversation with head coach Jay Drake. That's on the way in 2 minutes on ESPN Radio and
Machine in Beersford is your full
with confidence. When investing in a new home,
customize your washer for any load and wash the way you want. Industry First Innovation and Design lets you remove the agitator to wash a bulky load that needs more space and easily swap it back in whenever you want. It's twice the wash action options and twice the washer you have at home.
Find this and other Whirlpool and Maytag appliances at Merce Appliance in Vermillion.
If you're considering a new roof, you want to put your roof in the hands of Dave's Roofing. Dave's Roofing specializes in residential roofing and has over 10 years of experience. Dave's Roofing covers any job from a 60 to 80 mile radius of Sioux City and has a 10-man crew that completes most jobs in one day. Dave's Roofing will make sure the cleanup job is done right afterwards too. And the products installed are impact rated and eligible for homeowners insurance discounts. Look up Dave's Roofing on Facebook and check out the work that's been done in customer test
Bank and Trust. Our upgraded
electric service with shops in Pierre and Vermillion. We offer a full spectrum of electrical services covering Central, North Central, and Southeast South Dakota. We are licensed, insured, and ready to work on your agricultural, commercial, or residential project. Need a quote? Give us a call. Todd's Electric Service, the line to power.
You don't need an illness to need a doctor. You don't need to feel sick to feel better. You don't need to be unwell to get well. What you do need is a primary care physician or provider at Stanford Health. Better health care starts with regular wellness visits and a familiar face who knows you, your concerns, and your goals. We're here before you need us. We're here when you need us. We're here after you need us. We're here for you. Stanford Health. Health lives here.
Here on the First Dakota National Bank post-game show, we'll get to our look at scores from around the state of South Dakota here in just a little bit. But right now, it's time to get to our conversation with head coach Jay Drake. And let's go right away. I know you can't say everything that was mentioned at halftime, but can you at least take us into a little bit to what was said at halftime and what got things corrected for your squad after only leading it by 21-20, came out on a big 14-0 run to start the third quarter. What'd you say to the guys?
Well, I'd have to keep it clean. It was a disappointment, obviously, and we basically, and I guess we didn't go too crazy at halftime. We had a timeout there in the first half. That we kind of said the same thing, and we went in at halftime. We were kind of pleading for our seniors, with 5 seniors, starters, and they're good kids, but, we've watched these kids from 3rd, 4th grade on through youth basketball, through middle school. They've been through kind of the wars here or been around them here in recent years. And they're approaching their final weeks. Yep. You're hoping you're still playing a month from now, and yet it could be, what is today, Friday? What we're hoping is 3 weeks from tonight that we're playing at DB in the region semis, but we also could be done in 2.5 weeks, 3 weeks from this past Tuesday night in the first round. And for a group, that they've got to have some urgency. We say this every year, though. It's kind of the seniors team, especially down the stretch. And we just, for whatever reason, one of the things we always tell our group is fear no one, but respect everyone. And I know Irene-Wakonda had our coaches respect, but we kind of asked our seniors here if they were respecting the crew we were playing, because we just it was flat out went through the motions, not playing hard enough, and giving a team life. My guess is Irene-Wakonda probably didn't believe they could win when they came in, but in high school sports, when we have that kind of effort and energy in the first half, we gave them a lot of life at halftime. Obviously, it's a tale of two halves. Most people are going to pick things up and say, pick the paper up and say, well, 60-31, it's the blowout we thought, but it was it wasn't that. So,
going off that, I know you can speak to this. I can speak to this as well. Going through high school, being a senior, I feel like we had that urgency ourselves when we played our final sports that we did want to be the best we possibly could, knowing we would never get that opportunity. Do you have to give a speech at all to the guys, or do you feel like that's just going to click here within the next 2 weeks to realize that this dream they've had for so long is about now over with?
Well, and that's what was so disappointing in the first half, is really at this point we should not have to. We've talked to them in practice, during scouting reports, team meetings and stuff about the urgency. But it just wasn't there in the first half, and it does have to click, because if it's one of those things where we as a coaching staff have to keep harping on it for the next 2 weeks, we're not going to have a chance to get where we are trying to get or want to get anyway. It's I guess a lesson learned there in the first half, but we did some things in the first half on offense and defense that we've been kind of harping on all year. And that's where like we told our guys, is it does have to click at some time. We can't keep saying the same things over and over, because if not, we're not learning from past experiences. And really, I tell you this much: if we come out with that energy and effort in the first half on Monday night against Madison, we won't be in the game at halftime, and that thing will be out of reach already.
Yeah, certainly will. And going off this game now, looking more specifically at it, I thought Irene-Wakonda did a great job of taking away the inside. They really wanted to shut down Nick Sorensen tonight, not give him open looks inside the paint or really allow any looks in there. what did you have to battle through to try to make sure you did have some open space and were able to connect with those easy shots at the inside the lane and at the rim?
Yeah, we'd like to play inside out, whether it's man or zone. Our fear as a coaching staff was exactly what happened, especially when you're in a situation with the big 6'9" kid, and he's a long 6'9", and he just stands in the middle of the zone there. But we finally knocked a few shots down too, but we had the pace of the game. The other night against DV, we're getting up in a track meet, and we don't want to be in a track meet. Tonight's the type of night we do want this game. It's probably more of an advantage for us if we get going up and down. And we did get some stops at times in the first half. I mean, they only had 20 points, but one of the ways to not let a zone set up is just try to beat them down in transition. We didn't run the floor hard enough. We weren't on attack mode, and it kind of just lulled everything to sleep here, and we got into a half-court game, and that's exactly what they wanted. And then, it's one of those things, you miss a few shots, and, in our full-court pressure, we didn't have enough pressure on the ball. We gave up some easy ones on the back end of it, and we're only doing that hoping that creates some offense for us, and instead it was creating offense for them, which a lot of it, though, was the energy and effort we were putting forth within our full-court defense.
I have to kind of ask you, because I want to know more about your brain on this situation. You get a nice 29-point victory, and you do have to come right back here on a Monday to play against Madison, DAC 12 clash. You still see your players currently out chit-chatting with friends on the court. What is your kind of mindset on that, and now the next 48 hours getting ready for a tough Madison team that certainly does want to come in and, I guess, kick your teeth in on Monday night? Yeah,
they're number one, a really good basketball team, and they have the probably most deceiving record in the state. You had told me that West Central got them by 10 tonight, but that'll put them at 6-9. And of those 9 losses, 6 of them have basically been kind of like our Dells, West Central, Lennox that went to the wire, and against good teams. They lost to Winter by 3 at the wire, top 5 team. Lost to T, 62-60 at the wire. They were up at Dells by 25 in the first half.
Yep.
It was 18 at halftime. Give Dells credit. Dells came back and won in overtime. Lennox early in the year lost by 2 at Lennox. And missing someone else. But they have 5 of those 6 are to teams that are basically top 10 teams. And we told our guys, if we were playing Lennox, T, Dells, or whoever tomorrow night or Monday night, they'd have our attention, and this is a team that's played all those teams to the wire, and they've had some tough losses. So, they're 6-9 and could easily be sitting here, what is that, 15 games, 12-3, 11-4. So it's a good game for us. It should be an even matchup. And like I said, tonight was very disappointing. You sometimes have those nights as coaches, and you want to win games, and we did a much better job in the second half, but I kind of compare it to, there's nights where you might lose a basketball game, a tight one, very good bet to a very good team, goes to the wire, and you actually walk away even with the loss feeling good about some things. Tonight, especially the way we played in the first half, you just kind of feel a little bit dirty the way you played. Feel like I need to go home, take a shower, wash some of this stuff off. But poor first half, much better second half. But we can't be a team that's only going to put 16 minutes together. It's got to be 32, no matter who we're playing. And that's the thing. We got 2 weeks. It's got to be 32 minutes every night.
Yeah, kind of going off that, I can remember the old cliche my dad once said to me when I was younger, when I got in trouble in school, I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed.
Right, yeah.
Coach, who do you got in the Super Bowl? You cheering for the Rams or the Bengals?
I am still cheering for Aaron Rodgers to go to the Broncos during the offseason, so we're banking on that. Okay. And it won't matter because it'll be Broncos Super Bowls for a few years here. But I will say I am cheering for Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Okay.
That's where I guess my heart would be, but my mind says it'll be a Rams victory on Sunday.
That's where I'm at as well. I think I love Joe Cool, but I really think the Rams are going to win as well. Did you get Valentine's Day taken care of with your wife as well?
That is on Monday, and due to the stretch of games we're in right now, I've got a little leeway on that. Okay. Hopefully, I did, though, last night. My wife's been out of town for a few days. But my daughter, I took her out for kind of a Valentine's Day dinner.
There you go.
Early one.
Sure.
I can call it that, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, Coach Drake, thanks for your time as always.
Thanks, Heath.
There he is, head coach Jay Drake. We'll catch up with him once again Monday when we have our pregame show. That's again we talk about the Vermillion boys spending Valentine's Day right back here inside the Birdcage, taking on the Madison Bulldogs. And as Coach Drake mentioned, certainly going to be a tough matchup. No easy task on that one, and we look forward to it. We'll have all the coverage beginning around 6:30 right here on ESPN Radio and Vermillion Streaming. Until that time, we take one last quick look at scores from around the state of South Dakota as we wrap things up here on the First Dakota National Bank postgame show. As I mentioned, West Central beat Madison tonight 75-65. In other Region 4, Beersford is all over Elk Point Jefferson 34-18. Also, at the end of quarter number 3, receiving votes T area leads it over receiving votes Lennox now 53-46 after Lennox held the lead for quite some time. Dakota Valley is all over Del Rapids 41-30, which actually Del Rapids has kind of fought back in that one after trailing by 15 in quarter number 1, only scoring 5 points. And again, that is a look at scores when it comes to the boys' side of action. On the girls' side of action in Class A, DAC 12 and Region 4, receiving votes Sioux Falls Christian earlier in the DWU Classic beat Belfouche 39-26. Also, it was T area that beat Lennox 46-15. And girls action for Vermillion, they beat Irene-Wakonda 66-43. It was Elk Point Jefferson that got the win 37-29. Also, Dakota Valley beat Del Rapids 73-47. And that is a look at your scores when it comes to the Region 4A and also and the DAC 12. So again, Vermillion boys and girls get the victories, and girls action 66-43, and boys action your final score of 60-31. We're back here 6:30 on Monday night for the boys only between the Madison Bulldogs. Again, catch all the action right here on ESPN Radio and Vermillion Streaming. Until then, have yourself a wonderful rest of your evening. Enjoy the Super Bowl, and happy Valentine's Day to all. We'll catch you back on Monday evening.